Mercari, and whatnot. We're going to ship out all those orders. You're going to see everything that I sold over the weekend, or at least for the last 48 hours. The last time I shipped was Saturday around noontime, so we got 48 hours worth of sales. I'm going to show you everything that sold. I'm going to tell you how much it sold for, what my profit margin is, how much I paid for those items, how long they took to sell, and all that stuff. So welcome in. We do this live every Monday. We've been doing it for years. Just a good, authentic, honest glimpse into what it's like being a full-time reseller, at least our version of being a full-time reseller. We're going to get our shipping labels printed out here on eBay, get those cooking out. How was your weekend of sales? What's going on over there? Did you have a good weekend of sales? Did you get out and about, enjoy yourselves? We did all sorts of things this weekend. No, we didn't do a very lot this weekend. We went to a 2-year-old's birthday party yesterday, so that was a hoot. It was actually a good time, and that's about it. I don't know. We went out to dinner on Friday. We didn't see any music. Did we see music? Oh yeah, I guess we saw music for like a little bit at one place, like a little one-man band. Nice weekend. It was like, tropical Western North Carolina mountain weekend. Good mix of heat and humidity and some rain and storms rolling through. As it does this time of year. Hope everybody is doing well. If you haven't said hello down below in the chat, let's do it. Tej is in the house. What's up, Tej? How are you? Good to have you in. It's been a little bit. Always appreciate having you. Mark is in the house. Good afternoon. Hope you had a good weekend. We did. Great weekend. Pretty chill weekend overall. With a wild and crazy 2-year-old birthday party in the middle of all of that. All right. Let me know down below in the chat. What are we going to ship first? Are we going to ship eBay, Poshmark, Mercari, or whatnot? We have orders on all 4 of those platforms. So happy to get cooking on whatever one that you tell me. The first one that I see down below in the chat, eBay, Poshmark, Mercari, or whatnot, is what we'll ship first, and then we'll just ship everything. But we'll start with whatever you say. You're the boss for just a moment. What's up, good guy Flips? Rocking the poncho. Yes, sir. How are you? What's good? I thrifted this poncho. Blended Oasis is in the house. Always good to have you, Blended. Hey, Charlene, how are you? About to go to the appointment, so we'll catch most later. That's awesome. Well, hopefully it's a smooth appointment, and we'll see you later on. By the way, all these lives are available as replay. So if you're busy going to an appointment, you're working on listings, you're out thrifting or whatever, as soon as this live is over, you can rewatch it on eBay and Posh, on Facebook and YouTube. And we get back to all those questions and comments on the replay too. So you can just watch it as if you're live. But I won't be live. I won't respond to you in like this, but I'll respond to comments. What's up? Alton is in the house. Brenda's in the house. What's up? How are you? Larry says eBay. Larry, you're the boss. Just for a moment, we'll ship eBay first, and then we'll push everything else out after that. What kind of question is that? I'm an old man, Surfs. Elton says whatnot. We'll get to whatnot after eBay. Planning. Get out of here, Surfo. Brenda says Poshmark. We'll get to Poshmark after 2. Cookie Pokey says eBay. You got it, Cookie. How you doing? Cookie Pokey, you switched to Nifty, what, like 2-3 weeks ago? Let us know down below in the chat. How's that going? I'm anxious to hear what kind of results you're seeing for your business. Been okay, busy with mom, settled into her nursing home. That sounds like a challenging but positive step in the right direction. So kudos to you to making that challenging transition. I'm sure it was less than fun, but definitely necessary. Curious about how whatnot shipping works. Super easy. I don't know that shipping, it's almost as easy as shipping on Poshmark. Yeah, similar. I mean, it's just crazy easy. Thanks, Ralph. I appreciate that. If you do want to check out our coffee, I'm going to drop a link down below right there. That's a link to our coffee website if you want to go check out our offerings. We have a light roast, a medium roast, and a dark roast. Everything is fair trade and organic. It's roasted fresh every Thursday, and everything is available in whole bean or already ground. Here's our best seller right here, Hooper's Creek Medium Roast. This is the OG coffee, the coffee that we launched with. It's still roasted by our best friends, Dynamite Roasting, here in Black Mountain, North Carolina. Delicious coffee. This particular one is from Chiapas, Mexico, but we got coffees. Well, right now, our coffees are really Central America coffees right now, but we offer coffees from all around the world. Thank you for mentioning that, Ralph. It is good coffee. I had 2 of them, and look at me. I'm like awake, alert, alive. It's because I had good coffee this morning. I, too, have a 2-year-old. That girl keeps me busy. 100% understand that. Hi, Chris. I had a bolo sourcing experience last week. Found 2 Hermenegildo Senya cashmere wool blazers at the same Goodwill 2 days apart. Sometimes going frequently to the same thrift pays off. I like it. Thanks for sharing with that swimmer. That's a great find. Armstrong thrifted my first Dixon on Saturday, a Snap-on limited edition. Nice, Armstrong. That's a good find. I love it. Kevin's in the house. What's up? Just a quick reminder that don't be intimidated or fooled by this fancy sign that my friend made for me hanging on the wall. This is a business that we run out of our home. It's held together by duct tape. What did I say? Duct tape, toothpicks, bubble gum, whatever it is. It's just a small business run out of the second bedroom of our home. So just remember, anybody can do this. We've just been doing it a little bit longer. We've been doing this for, this will be 8 years this month, actually, that we've been running this business. So this is something that anybody can do. You don't need big startup costs. You don't need warehouses and storage units. Most of you might be able to just work this out of the space that you already have. And that's how it's always been for us. In fact, we started out of a 1-bedroom apartment. I think it was 740 square foot apartment on the 4th floor in downtown Denver. So it doesn't take much to get rolling in this business and even to get growing in this business. So, but we're going to give you a good honest glimpse into what's cooking this weekend. We got a whole bunch of sales. Friday was the slowest day, and actually the weekend was pretty solid. I think it was 14 sales on Saturday and 15 on Sunday. So for the middle of July, when it's supposed to be slow, I'll absolutely take 14 or 15 sales for a day. That's great. And we are a little bit down. Let me just look at the numbers. We're about 20% down from a really good June. And I'm about, I think, 12% down from a really good May. So even though you're going to see me shipping out a lot of orders, we have experienced a summer slowdown as we do most summers. And I always say every summer we tend to have two really slower months, right, that are down like 15 or 20% from non-summer months. And we tend to have like one pretty good month. Our pretty good month this year was June. It was actually a really good month. It was our best month of the year. But like many of you are seeing, we see a slowdown for at least 2 of those months. Well, usually for 2 of the months in the summer. So looks like our summer slowdown is going to be July, August, and that's no surprise there. So even though business is good, business is down because it's the summertime, but it's also forecasted to be down. Every business has seasonality. I'm not mad that we're down. Of course, I'm always I'm always motivated to push and do better. But that's just the way it is. Every business has seasons. If you're selling ice cream, in the wintertime on an ice cream truck, right? And you're in Montana in the winter, it's going to be slow. You just have to play the seasonality. If you're selling used clothing or new clothing online on eBay and Poshmark, that the summertime is likely going to be slower than the fall and the spring, which tend to be really good months. So how and what made you get into selling coffee? Just like the Cliff's notes for that would be, we used to go live 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, right around 9. I think it was 9 a.m. Eastern time. We used to go live and ship out all the orders like we do now. And somebody just said at one point in time, everyone was like sharing their coffee. We're talking over coffee, and someone's like, "You should have your own coffee." I'm like, "That's preposterous." And then, fast forward a couple months, we reached out to our favorite coffee roaster in the world, and that was our first outreach, and they're like, "Yeah, we can partner with you." And long story short, a couple months later, we launched our first coffee, and now we have 2 more coffees. So, but thank you for asking. There's longer and shorter stories, but Koki Pokey says, "I love Nifty. Yes, thank you for the nudge. Selling on other platforms is fun. Paid for the monthly fee with 3 sales in 2 days." I love that. Sales I would not have made on only eBay. Very happy. Glad to hear that, Koki Pokey. That's awesome. Really happy to hear that. Glad that that's working out for you. And that's a pretty typical story when people say, "Hey, we used your link. We signed up for Nifty, gave it a try, saw the results early, decided to stick around and pay for the first, second month, and we're seeing great results." We hear that all the time. So about 95% of the people, might even be higher, it's like more like 96 or 97% of the people who actually do the free trial for Nifty end up signing up for the long haul because they see the impacts in their business. So I'm going to drop down below in the chat. This is going to be the sign up link. So all you got to do is click that link. You'll get a 7-day trial of Nifty. And if you like it, you'll get 15% off your first month. All you got to do is click that link right there. I dropped in the chat, like hundreds of other people have already done from these lives and have signed up from Nifty and have seen their business grow. So yeah, again, like something like 95 to 97% of the people that do the free trial actually stay on board and pay and sign up for the long haul, which is really, when you talk about a software solution like this, that's an incredible rate. It's because the freaking thing just works the way it's supposed to. So it's cross listing, it's AI listing, which saves me a ton of time. It's got analytics built into it, and of course the automation tools. And we'll talk about the automation tools as we go through today, because the automation tools got us a bunch of sales. Milky Flips is in the house, y'all. You know that when I make recommendations to you, that these recommendations are thoughtful and they're honest, and I don't pump things that I don't think deserve to be pumped. Milky Flips deserves to be pumped because he is a reseller content creator that I watch to learn, right? And I've been doing this for 8 years, and I create content. I've been creating content now it's been 6 years since we started creating content about this stuff. So if I'm watching Milky Flips and you're watching me, shouldn't you be watching Milky Flips? Because I learn from him every day, big time. You think my sales are good, his are better. He knows this stuff. Been doing it a long time. He's been full-time a long time. Sold a vintage Roback Sherpa line denim coat. I'm sweating here, but somewhere someone is cold. Yeah, I mean, honestly, there's been over the last, say, week and a half, maybe 2 weeks, I've seen the switch flip from like really heavy on summer and springtime stuff to really moving quickly towards fall stuff and even some winter stuff. So today we're going to be shipping out some items that you would typically consider to be fall items. A good amount of them, in fact. We still have some short sleeves. I still got some Hawaiian shirts and some golf polos going out. But I've seen this switch moving towards the fall stuff already. I've been selling a lot. Like winter jackets are going out the door. Like heavy winter jackets are going out the door. I don't think I have any of those today, but those have been selling this week. It's kind of crazy, but this is when it typically starts to turn. And we're 10 days from August when that stuff will continue to sell even more and more. What's up, Darlene? Welcome in. Glad that you're listening. I got a face for radio, right? I was in the Cornelius Goodwill Saturday. Wow, those resellers waiting for the fresh racks, unbelievable. Yeah, there's some interesting folks. There's some entitlement there for sure. With some of the people that feel, you can tell that they're like, hey, I'm here all the time. This is my space, and I'm going to be aggressive, even if that's at your expense. So I definitely saw that at my one time that I went there. Tej, thank you for your order over at chris@peak.com. We got a 3-pack of Hooper's Creek grounds going out the door. So we'll pack that up right now. That's the rules. If anybody orders coffee on our website during the live, we stop what we're doing and we get that shipped right out with a big dose of gratitude. So thank you, Tej, a regular customer of ours, a good friend, and someone we appreciate a real lot. So thank you, Tej. We'll get that shipped out right now for you. Tej, is this going to you, or do you want me to put I know sometimes you ship it to family. Do you want me to put like a note from you in the package? I don't know why I'm doing this, but let me know if you want me to put like a personalized gift note in there or whatever. Again, here's the link to our coffee website if you want to check it out. If you order coffee during the live, we'll ship it out right during the live, as we always do. How do you pack up a 2-piece suit? Well, I'll show you in just a little bit. It'll be our 3rd order on eBay going out the door, so you won't have to wait long for that Whistler stump. But we got a 2-piece suit going out today. A couple blazers going out too. My introverted self keeps my head down and scrapes through the bottom of every bin. Well, the bins are my biggest challenge. Gotcha. More power to you for going to the bins and digging through that stuff. I can't do it. You got it, Milky. And every word I said, I 100% believe. So I found that eBay drops items if you don't relist or end sales and then relist. What do you do about this? Darlene, I use a tool called Nifty AI. I just linked just above in the chat, a couple of messages before yours. I linked a free trial for it. So Nifty at 30 days on eBay delists that 30-day-old item and then creates a brand new listing for it. So it shows up in search. It has a brand new URL, a brand new item number on eBay, so that you get a little bump, because eBay gives a bump to new items so in the search results. So I use Nifty for that. So I don't have to worry about that ever happening because I don't have a single listing on eBay that's older than 30 days. And Nifty just takes care of it. I'm going to do a quick shared screen here and just show you exactly what I mean, because sometimes I know I like visuals as I'm trying to learn here too. So I'm going to do a quick shared screen and just show you exactly what I'm talking about. Share screen. Boom. All right, so this is my automation tools section on Nifty. By the way, if you're watching on Instagram, you're going to see just a little snapshot of this. If you want to see a widescreen version of this, if you're on Instagram, just come over to YouTube or Facebook and you can see the whole screen, get a wider view of me in the office and all that stuff. So this is what you're seeing in the automation right now. You're seeing shares and relist happening. So today, there's been 2,657 shares. I've shared 317 of other people's items. And I've relisted 5 items on Poshmark. So delisted old listings and replaced them with new ones. I've sent 16 offers, or Nifty has. I've followed 500 new people, and 6 people I've followed back because they followed me. Probably their bots working. Here's the eBay offers, and here's the eBay recreates. This is what you were asking about, Darlene. This is why I never have a listing that's older than 30 days on eBay, because once it gets 30 days old, this is set up right here, and you can see in the settings, it says recreate unsold listings approaching 30 days. My daily limit is 100. So already today, I had 28 items that were 30 days old. So Nifty has delisted those, created a brand new listing with a new URL and a new item number, and listed those fresh. So those items will get a bump, and I think we can look at those. These are those exact items that are exactly 30 days. Oh, that's Mercari. Did I click the wrong thing? Am I crazy? Oh, it's showing me all the recreates. So that was just a big list of Mercari relists, eBay relists, and Poshmark relists. It's also doing that on Mercari too, and you can see it sending offers on Mercari as well. So anyway, that's just a quick share. I wanted to show you exactly what's going on there. So I don't have to worry about old listings because there aren't any. There aren't any that are older than 30 days. Thomas says, Milky, with a bunch of exclamation points. I hope you got medium roast ground. It's exactly what I got. I'm going to ship 3 of them right to your front door, Tej. Absolutes in the house. Sorry, I missed your walk in the door. 37 sales over the weekend. Let's go, Adam. I love that. But somewhere clearanced out sale to move. That's great. That's still a good outcome. I love selling the old stuff. Leslie says, hi, Chris. Stop the shipping. I ordered coffee. Need lots of caffeine. We got you. We'll get it to you real quick here. I'll give you $20 for that poncho. Get out of town, would you? Me. Yes, I got you, Tej. Cornelius is definitely like the Humber Games 10.0. I think it's worse than any Goodwill bins I've ever been to. That's interesting. You know, what's funny though is those vultures, they're attacking the fresh racks there. And I was just going through the racks and finding good stuff that, you know, they overlooked or whatever. So don't let that kind of stuff intimidate you. People are looking for different things. So even though those people are aggressive and they're hitting those fresh racks, they are not probably looking for the same stuff that you are. I just wait for them to go, rah, they like attack the racks, and I'm over just going through the jeans, finding my stuff. And then once they clear, I go over to the fresh racks. And in the video that I did where I went to Cornelius on YouTube, when I went to like 10 thrift stores in that video, but one of them was Cornelius, I showed you how those people just attacked the racks, the fresh racks, got all their stuff, ran away, and I walked right up and got a pair of Vuori joggers off the rack that sold like in a couple of days for 40 something bucks or 50 bucks or whatever, right? Because everybody's looking for different stuff. So don't let those people intimidate you. Just out knowledge them, right? They might be like out aggressing you or out hustling you maybe. Just out knowledge them, and you can still win. They don't know all the time what they're looking for. Just because they look angry doesn't mean they're smart. What's up, piece of scrap? And sorry if you're one of those animals that's at the Cornelius Goodwill, but I'm just telling you, you missed stuff, and I found it and I sold it. Love your thrifting vlogs. Appreciate that, Randon. By the way, I just dropped a new YouTube last Wednesday, and it's being well received. So if you haven't checked out my new YouTube video, I'm going to drop the link to it. We went up to Richmond, Virginia. This is part 1 of a 3-part series where we're up in Richmond, Virginia, and then Northern Virginia in the DC area. So that's the first. Just click right there and you'll see that first one. That's the Richmond video. Good, clean fun. We get some good stuff up there. Already sold some of that stuff too, so I love that. Fell behind on listing in July because I needed to do some things around the house, but posted 48 over the weekend to get caught up. Sales took off yesterday. Nice, Armstrong, crushing it over there. Koki Pokey says about Nifty and delisting. I have 1,000 I'm allowed by eBay to list again. What if Nifty goes over my 1,000? So no matter what, at the end of the month, whether you delist an item and create a new listing or you let eBay do it, either way, it's going to happen. eBay is just not going to give you a new URL and a new item number, but it's still going to cost you a listing. So the fact that you're adding Nifty with that delist and relist tool, it's not going to cost you any extra listings. Every month, eBay will charge you for that listing. It's only good for 30 days, right? And then it becomes a new listing. The only difference is they're not giving it a new URL and a new item number, so you're not getting a bump in search. All you're getting is the that you're using one of your free listings. So Nifty will have zero impact on what you're talking about there, Koki Pokey. It'll be the same. So doing this Nifty, it changes your UR number. How does that affect an inventory number you give when you first listed, or how do you keep track of coordinating inventory? So Darlene, I'm going to do one quick share. That's a great question, actually. I'm going to do another quick shared screen here. And boom, boom, boom. All right, so we're in the automation tools section here at Nifty 2. So we're going to go into my inventory. So this is my actively listed inventory. And you can see, for example, right here, this very top item is the last one I listed yesterday, Public Rec Game Changer 5-pocket pants, right? See where it says SKU right here? That's my SKU number. This item is in J8 out in my garage. It's in that bin. So when it sells, I know exactly where to look for it. eBay, that goes right into eBay's SKU. Like eBay has a custom SKU field. That populates into eBay. It also populates into Poshmark because they have a SKU field. It does not populate into Mercari or Whatnot because Mercari or Whatnot don't offer a SKU field. Don't ask me why they don't do it, but they don't offer it. But it populates directly into those two platforms, eBay and Poshmark. When these items get relisted, it'll repopulate into eBay and Poshmark on that new listing too. So see how all these have a SKU number, I8, H9, G3. That SKU number, even when it gets listed, gets put into the new listing as well, that fresh listing. Are you doing the 127 sale? What's the 127 sale? Hey, never got to catch you live. I usually watch the replay on Thursdays while drafting listing. Well, welcome to the live stream. Limberkey. Welcome in. I'm glad that you joined live for the first time. Do you also resell? And let me know. Oh, yeah, he said, well, drafting listing. Gotcha. So what kind of stuff do you resell in your game? So glad I caught your live. Sold my first Just Fade Bank 2-piece suit in 3 days, $5 and a $40 profit. Awesome. Suits and blazers are my highest profit items for sure. So I'm glad that you're having some success there. Let me drop this shared screen. Stop. All right, big peek again. That's awesome, Queen. Thank you for sharing your W right there. It was a wool blend, the Stay Cool line. I like it. Nice one. Did I see a video? Did you post a social media post about that? I feel like I saw somebody sell one of those recently. Sorry if I missed anybody's question or comment. I didn't mean to, but if I did, just feel free to go ahead and drop your question or comment again. Sometimes I miss a few. Thank you for the great information. Appreciate it, Darlene. If you have any follow-up questions, I'm here for it. Yeah, I got you, Koki. All right, let's ship out this coffee for Tej. So Tej is, if you're still here, Tej, you should be still here. You can't leave this early. Boom, 3 bags of our Hoopers Creek medium roast going out the door to Tej. Thank you so much. Tej, you're too good to me. Thanks for supporting our small business. You're also supporting our roasters' small business too. Our coffee roaster Dynamite is a small business too. They have 15 employees. So they have a roasting facility, and then right down the street, they also have a coffee shop that they've had for years and years and years. They have won Western North Carolina's #1 coffee roaster 13 years in a row, which is crazy. And actually, starting in a couple weeks is the voting for that again. So there's a local publication called WNC Magazine. Yeah, WNC Magazine, is that it? It's either a magazine or news, but anyway, WNC. They do this like best of Western North Carolina votes. So viewers vote on all this stuff, or readers vote on all this stuff. So 13 years in a row, they've won #1 coffee roaster in Western North Carolina, which is crazy to win #1 even one time. To win it 13 years in a row is crazy. There's some great coffee roasters here in Western North Carolina. But if you live in Western North Carolina, if you live in this Asheville area, everybody knows Dynamite because it's great coffee. They've been around for years. They're good in the community. They're great people. And we're grateful to call them our roasting partners because they're just awesome people. They really know what they're doing with the coffee. They have these relationships with farmers all over the world. They go visit the farmers. They're tasting the bean, coffee right on the farms. I mean, these people take their coffee really seriously. So it's great to have them as partners because they know so much more than I do. Besides coffee, do you have other investments outside of reselling? Yeah, like just normal like stocks and index funds and that sort of stuff. I've been investing since I was 20 years old. So yeah, I have a lot of that stuff. Yes, on Facebook, I gave credit to where it is due. Gotcha. Cool. I thought I saw that. I think you tagged me in it. That's why I saw it, right? You said my username correctly. I sell men's, women's, and children. I'm actually going full time next week. Hey, let's give some positive vibes to Limburkey, for going full time. Those of you who are full time understand sort of a lot of the thinking and planning that goes into that. So you kind of probably know a little bit about where Limburkey is right now. So those of you who are full time, send some positive vibes to Limburkey, and those of you who are part time can send some vibes too, because you probably understand what kind of step that would be, right? To go from part time with another income, a full time job or a part time job, to just going at full. I mean, you get it, right? It's a big jump. So let's send some positive vibes to Limburkey. I remember when I went full time back in 2020 December. I remember the pressure about it. I felt like a lot of weight just came onto my shoulders as soon as I made that decision, and as soon as like my last day of that job on Friday and my first day full time on Monday, like believe me, I felt that like weight. It just kind of came onto my shoulders, like I was holding a barbell over my shoulders, and it was a weight. And but that weight made me stronger because I carried that weight for the first few months specifically. That weight felt really heavy, but then my legs got strong, my back got strong, and that same thing will happen with you, I'm sure. So let us know how things are going and how you're feeling about the whole thing. You're definitely speaking truth. Was in the checkout line at Goodwill Saturday. They pulled out 2 new racks. Bunch of people went through them. I walked over and checked, found 3 items. There you go. People were looking for different stuff. Levi's orange tab polo shirt that sold in 10 minutes after listing in a Patagonia. Beautiful stuff. How are people not looking for Patagonia? That's wild to me. Tease, you're going to get a shipping confirmation here in just a few shakes of a lamb's tail. Refresh data. I know this took us a little bit to get to your coffee, but we are chatty. And then we're going to get into eBay. I got to start shipping. I haven't shipped one single thing yet. But I enjoyed spending time with y'all and talking too. That's a big part of this. So Tej, you got a shipping confirmation in your inbox, and that's going to have your tracking. Should have this by the end of the week. It's going coast to coast. Well, almost to coast. Asheville, North Carolina to Moses Lake, Washington. All right, Tej, you got that confirmation. And your item is going out the door today. 3 bags of coffee, fair trade, organic, roasted fresh, heading your way. Thank you, Tej. And that's our goal with everybody. Try the coffee once. You're going to love it. You're going to taste and smell the difference right away. And then keep coming back for more once we get you hooked. And actually, our coffee is priced super reasonably compared to our competition in this same space. There's a lot of competition in the coffee space, but people who are doing fair trade, organic, single origin coffees like we are, typically are pricing their bags of coffee $2 to $5 more expensive than ours. And some people are even more than that. So our coffee competes directly with those people, and we have a better price too. So we're not like overcharging for coffee. We're actually pretty low in the market for that sort of thing. You're welcome, Limburkey. I've been growing it for about 6 months, and it just became too much to handle my 50-hour-a-week management job, plus my love for reselling. I get routines in place, and I'm excited. I'm excited for you. Keep us posted on the progress. You're going to do great. I'm full-time after being corporate my whole life. It's been 6 months, and I am just afraid I am going to bottom out. How long did it take you to have it to be sustainable? I don't know. I guess I don't really know what the definition of sustainable would be in your mind. It sounds like, by the way, congrats on going full time and all that. It's been 6 months, and I'm just afraid. So I got to a point where I was comfortable with my income after. So I quit my job on my last day was like December the 6th, and I think my first day was like December the 9th, full time, like Monday, right? And my goal was by March 1st to have, I think it was like 800 listings live. And I was like, cool, if I can get to 800 listings by March 1st, I was at something like 4 or 450 at the time. So if I can get to 800 active listings, that should give, with my current sell-through rate and all that, I should be able to have an income that I'm comfortable with and that can keep us going. So that was my version of sustainable. I don't know what yours is. And I got to 850 listings by that March 1st. I grew it from there. Of course, we're at like 1,400 and change, 1,450 listings right now. That's generally where we hover right now. But for me, that was the definition of sustainable. That gave me the income that I needed. It didn't replace my previous income, but it gave me what I needed at that given time. So hopefully that helps. But again, everybody's finances are a little different. So it's hard for me to say what would work for you. Everyone's definition of sustainable is a little bit different. When part 2 of the Virginia trip, I'm going to drop that on Wednesday. I'm editing it right now. Those are kind of big edits. They take me hours and hours to edit those. I've been reselling for 3 years, but have really succeeded when I started using Nifty for cross-listing. Makes a big difference. It really does. I'm glad you're seeing that difference too. Especially those automation tools. That's the thing. Thank you. Really appreciate what you're doing. Okay, I like that. Thank you. You're welcome, Demora. I try to answer those as best I can, but everybody's situation is so much different. You know what I mean? I'm a part-time seller. I work full-time since starting using Nifty. I have 3 times my gross from starting Nifty. That's crazy. Definitely solidifies my goal to pay my house off in 6 years achievable. What a great goal. What a great goal. I'm rooting for you. I think we all are. That's really cool. Chris, do you know what the yellow icon with the arrows means on Nifty AI? That's indicating that that item was recently relisted. So you can go and you can click on your relistings and you can confirm that. But that's showing you that that item has been recreated or relisted by Nifty. So that's a good thing. Wow. Yeah. Isn't that cool? Sold another Joseph A. Bank blazer yesterday, and we'll be listing 2 suits and 5 blazers tonight. Thanks for the knowledge. See, I tell y'all about this stuff, and then y'all go and just take it all off the racks for me. You know, I blew up my own spot on those, but I want y'all to be successful too. It's funny, since I started talking a lot about Joseph A. Bank sales and all that, I don't find him as often because I think y'all are scooping them up from under my chin, but that's okay. I like everybody. There's enough to go around. I want y'all to be successful too. Thank you again, Tej. Let's get into some eBay sales here. Our first one right off the bat. This is a quick one. I posted about this one just last week. I asked y'all if you would pick up this item. It's a Peter Millar Summer Comfort golf polo, and it's got the West Virginia logo right there on the chest. And this one sold super, super quick. I'm going to give you some stats here. This one sold in 1 day. 1 day, best offer, $28 on this one. I think I had it priced at like $34.99 or $32.99, something like this. I feel like it's a $35 polo if I was patient. I'm not patient. I paid $5 for it. It sold for $28 plus $6.95 shipping. 1 day to sell, 24 hours out the door. It's a good reminder that, you know, you might have some Peter Millar in your store that you're probably saying, like, what the heck? How come my Peter Millar won't sell? Every item is going to be different from a brand. This one, you know, obviously that West Virginia logo on the chest is looking for a very specific customer, and there's not many of these listed. I think there was 2 of these listed. Their prices were both really high. So I just came under them with price and I sold mine right away. So every item is going to be a little bit different. You have to evaluate the item, not for the entire brand, but you know, what is the materials of this item? What is the logo on it? And sometimes the logo can make a good positive difference. Typically a Peter Millar with that little stripe pattern like that, that's going to sell on eBay for $20 to $25 on the high end, and $25 will probably take a little while because it's a very common item. You're competing against a lot of other people who probably have it priced more aggressively than you. The West Virginia logo and some other country club logos can make that difference where you can get a quick sale at above market value and get that item out the door in like 1 day. So awesome sale on this. This is going to Ohio, Marietta, Ohio. I was kind of expecting that it went to West Virginia, but they have alumni. I mean, it's a big school, so they have alumni all over the place. So $28 plus $6.95 shipping. Just to give you an idea, like what's my profit off of something that sells for $28 if I paid $5, which is pretty common stuff for me. I always say my business is basically buying stuff for $5 at a thrift store and selling it online for $25 plus shipping. That's kind of the right down the middle stuff for me. And my profit after fees, after shipping, and after cost of goods is going to be $16 on that item. eBay is paying me out $21.05 after I paid for the shipping label, after I paid for the fees. And then, of course, my buy cost was $5. So $16 profit on this out the door in 1 day. Awesome. Next one, really good sale here. Happy to see this one. This was a quick one, too. This sold on eBay, and it sold in 17 days, not as quick as the last one. Just shared a video about this. Some of you are well aware of this item. See that little silver tab here on this pair of jeans? So this is a Levi's silver tab. You can see that tab there on the back is a little bit wore off, or that patch. But these are the silver tab. These are the straight and loose is what it says on the inside tag. Straight and loose silver tabs. These are vintage, like Y2K era. 17 days to sell. They sold for full asking price, $53.99 plus $8.95 shipping on this. So really nice sale. I paid $6 for this only 17 days ago. And so that's going to be a great profit. I'm going to need a bigger bag than that one. These straight and loose, I mean, they are like big, baggy, totally what's in style right now. That vintage Y2K look that everybody is digging right now. Even your grandma has a pair of wide leg, baggy, barrel jeans right now. Everybody's wearing them. So these are going to Mission, Texas. I sell a ton of Levi's if you're new to this, watching the channel. A ton of Levi's. Do I have more Levi's going out today? I do. I have one more pair of Levi's too, a modern pair. But so far this year, just to give you an idea, let's see how many Levi's I've sold. In the summertime, Levi's are slower for me. I've sold 135 pairs of Levi's so far this year. Last year I sold 225. It's only July, so we're going to beat last year's 225 this year for sure. And that typically when we get to September, October, November, December, I'm going to sell about 30 pairs of Levi's a month, which is one per day. That's what I did last year anyway. So, just in those 4 months, I should sell 120. So that should put me up like a 255 total Levi's, and that doesn't even count. We still got the rest of July, and still got August. So I could be somewhere in like the 260, 270, maybe even 280 Levi's sold by the end of the year. Not all of them are going to make that much profit. A lot of them are just modern, regular, old Levi's, like the ones we'll ship out here in a little bit. Profit on this item after shipping and fees is going to be really good. So eBay's got to pay me out $42.66 after shipping and fees. My buy cost is $6, so $36 in profit on that item. I haven't even paid the credit card bill from when I bought that item. And by the way, if you don't know, I use a business credit card. I pay it off every single month. But what it means is I'm using the bank's money to get profit. So I already got profit in my bank account from those Levi's, and I haven't even paid that credit card bill yet. Next sale is I'm just going in order. Just happens to be we have some really good sales from Saturday right after I shipped. So we're going to crank out some really good profit items right away. Some items that you should definitely be on the lookout for. Highway 127 yard sales. Aren't you in Carolina? Yeah, I don't even know where Carolina. I don't do a lot of yard sales at this point. I used to do it a lot when I was in Denver. I found great stuff. I did it a lot when I was in Tampa. I found great stuff. Since I moved back to Asheville, I haven't really found a lot of great stuff consistently at yard sales. So for me, I just stick to retail arbitrage and thrift stores for the most part. Although yard selling can be fun, and it creates great content and great footage. It's just not as reliable for me. I'm going to where is North Carolina 127 highway? Just Googling it. I don't know where it is. North Carolina 127 is a primary state road. It's a 2-lane highway. It goes through Hickory. Okay, so it kind of goes fairly close to me. Hickory is, okay, I see it. Yeah, it runs north to south. So for me, that's about an hour away to get to Hickory from here, to catch onto that garage sale. When did you say that's happening? This weekend? Am I in town this weekend? I am in town this weekend. I probably won't do it, though, if I'm going to be honest with you. I usually don't work. I don't source typically on the weekends either. My wife works full-time. She works Monday through Friday, so we have the weekends off. So it's very uncommon that I source on the weekends. So things like, and that's the other reason why I don't do a lot of garage sales and yard sales around here. When I was in Denver, basically every garage sale started at least on Friday. So it'd be Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and a lot of them sold on Thursday. So I would go before work. I had a full-time job at the time. I would go before work on like Thursday or Friday to some garage sales. And that's when you get the best stuff, like on those early days, because everyone else is working. No one's paying attention to it. But around here, nobody starts their garage sales on Thursday and Friday. It's always Saturday and Sunday, almost always Saturday and Sunday. So that's another reason. I just don't source on the weekends. And so there just aren't usually garage sales and yard sales on the weekends. So, or on the weekdays here. So that's it for me. Do you source from yard sales? I think we discovered that. Good question, Stephanie. Horrible week until the weekend. Glad you had a great weekend. How are things going, Bass and Coffee? What's new? What's exciting? West Virginia native myself. West Virginia has a strong commitment to logo clothing. Got it. I like it. Do you respond to lowball half price offers? I just respond with a price that I'm comfortable with. Sold a K-pop Anorak jacket for $100. Let's go. Could have gotten it at one of the concerts in Seoul, South Korea. Found in Asheville at the thrift for $5. Sick. That's cool. I'm surprised you didn't keep it, Bass and Coffee. Do you run? I'm kidding, of course, but do you run into a lot of other resellers who sell similar items? Do you ever feel like they are taking a lot of your items? Run into resellers all the time. And since I'm on social media, a lot of times people will come up and introduce themselves and say hello and stuff too, which is really, really fun. But I don't let that bother me. Anywhere I've ever lived, I've always seen other resellers. Now they just tend to come up to me because I've been on social media for so long. But it's fun to bump into people, and I love meeting people out in the wild. Like I've met Bass and Coffee out in the wild before. I was at a thrift store, and two people back of me at the checkout asked me what it cost me. That didn't sell well. I answered, it cost me my money. How would you respond? I'm not really sure I understand. I probably have to read that a couple times through, but I'm not really sure I understand how would you respond? I feel you're in the same thrift store, the same option. I'm guessing that sounds like somebody was mad at you that you bought something. I'm not sure. I'm not sure really what you're asking or what the whole scenario is, but I have sold stuff to people in a thrift store before. I sold like a pink Carhartt, like Detroit style jacket. It was a women's Carhartt to another reseller who's like a vintage reseller, like a Depop or reseller. And they just said like, hey, how much would you take for it? I forget what the whole, it was like a year ago. I forget what the whole interaction was and how much we agreed on. But ultimately I was like, yeah, I'll sell it to you. And I sold it to him for whatever the price was. And then they had to go and like pay for the item at the front. I said, I'll sell it to you right here. You give me the cash, but you're going to have to check out with it. At first he was like, well, okay, cool. You go buy it. And then I'll buy it from you. I was like, no, you buy it right now. And then you can check out with it. And that's how we made it happen. So I don't know if that's the scenario you're talking about, but I guess I didn't really understand what you were saying. So I tried to give you an example of something that I think might be similar. For bread and butter items, what margins do you aim for from your YouTube channels? It looks like you aim for 15 plus, typically like 10 plus, but 15 plus is even better. Yeah. That's wild. The jacket alone would be 100. You gave them a great deal. Nice. Would you rather bundle two identical items or make a multi-quantity listing, which converts into more sales for you? It sort of depends on the item. I do it both ways. If the item is if it's like a shirt, right, that is navy blue, like say a navy blue golf polo, and it's the same brand, the same size, everything. It's exactly the same. Like, well, most people don't want like an identical shirt, same color and all that stuff, right? So I might list that one as quantity 2. But if it was that same shirt, but 2 different colors, one was a navy blue and one was a red, then I would bundle that together. But it just kind of depends on the sell-through rate of the item and like how identical are they really and all that stuff. But I think both strategies work. I use them both all the time. Is it better to do a coupon or a sale? I've never done a coupon before, but I do have a sale going on right now. I know Jay Hayes does a lot of coupons. Hi, Chris. Help this newbie got my first PO return for not delivery, verified by PO. It's a bad address. Just want to refund minus shipping and relist. So do I just take sale price shipping and use refund option? Will eBay give me my fees back? Yeah, just refund the person minus your costs for shipping that item. And you're good. Yep, that's it. You'll get your fees back too. 100%. Nice and easy. I'll never understand how jeans are seasonal. I'm in Florida native and I wear jeans every day. You wear jeans in Florida? Like right now, you're wearing jeans in Florida. It's like 90 something degrees. You're wearing jeans in Florida? Kim wore jeans yesterday because she got herself a new pair of barrel jeans, and she wore them yesterday to the little 2-year-old birthday party that we went to. But it was also a little cooler yesterday because we had some rain move through right through the party. But she was just excited she was going to wear her jeans. I'm like, you're crazy wearing jeans. But it wasn't as hot as it has been. But Florida, jeans every day? Come on now. You do you, but that's crazy. Gotcha. Yard sales can be hit or miss, but it's a huge sale. I've heard about it, and I'm in Wyoming. Nice. Yeah, I'm just kind of out of the loop when it comes to yard sales and garage sales for the reasons I sort of already shared. But I have no problem with them. I just doesn't sort of fit into my world. That would be a good content video for sure. If I did garage sales and yard sales, my views would get, every video I do with garage sales and yard sales, I get on average a lot more views than I do for thrift store videos. That's always been the truth. And in fact, I used to do a lot more garage sales and yard sales back in the day and created content about it. It would just perform better. It always did. But it's just not what I do. I can't film it if I don't go to it. But yes, that content always performs better and sometimes goes really, really, really viral, but just not what I do anymore, Hey, Chris, hope you had a great weekend of sales. I'm back. And part of that is I focus, I'm like 99% clothing now. And when you go to garage sales, you got to be open to taking home vintage glassware, vintage stereo, audio, old TVs. I love picking up those old TVs, like the DVD or the VHS. You got to be open to like taking all that stuff, right? Because that's where the kind of money is at garage sales and stuff like that. Finding premium men's clothing at garage sales, it happens, but it's just not super reliable. You know what I mean? Hope you had a great weekend of sales. I'm back after being forced back in the office for the past week. It was a long week after 5 years of working from home. They made you come into the office for the whole week, but were they like, was there things going on where it made sense, like certain meetings or events? Like, was there any kind of like fun to it? Was it good to see people, or was it just pure pain and suffering? Are you a Denver Broncos fan? No, I'm a Dolphins fan. I was born in Southeast Florida, and my dad was a Dolphins fan, so he raised me a Dolphins fan. Dan Marino happened to be pretty good when I was young too, but not a Broncos fan. Coupon never works for me. I've given them out at the end of the year and during the summer to all past buyers. Not a single one ever took me up on it. So there's a couple different ways to do coupons, Desert Rain. You're talking about one of them, like where you send them to people who have bought from you before, which I've also not done before. But there's another way where you can actually put coupons on your listing. So somebody can like kind of clip a coupon, basically, kind of like on Amazon. So there's two different ways to do it. If you need a filmer, I have a $4,000 camera setup, but they may boot us out of the thrift store though. Appreciate that. I probably will do some more. You're going to see in my next YouTube video, Kim came with me on the trip. The first day she worked from the hotel, she filmed in the thrift store. So it's the first time I've ever actually had somebody shoot. I've always done the shooting myself. And lately it's, for the last year, it's been off my Meta glasses, my Meta Oakley glasses. That's what I'm pointing at, the glasses that I'm not wearing. So it was nice to have a filmer. It was cool, but I don't think you need a big fancy camera setup. We use just a GoPro. GoPro's a pain in the butt for that. I'm probably going to get a different camera, but we don't really need like a big fancy thing for that kind of run and gun setup. I sold a flannel shirt, and I'd love your feedback on this new video that I'm going to drop on Wednesday with Kim filming. It's the first time we did it. We are still kind of working through our rhythm and like finding a flow and stuff, but I'm editing it right now. I think it's actually pretty good. I haven't edited the third video yet, the second one that she did with me. I think that one will be even better because we just had some more time to like establish a little bit of a flow and a rhythm to it, and we're kind of getting on the same page. So my guess is that footage will be a little better, but I haven't looked at it yet. I'm still working on video number 2. I sold a flannel shirt to Florida yesterday. There you go. I've been selling flannels all week. It's crazy. Wow, I'm in Florida and it is hot as heck. Yeah, it is. Florida is too hot for me. I enjoy yard sales, but it's not a guarantee the items I sell, mainly clothes, are going to be there. The thrift store, I know they will be. Yep, you and I are on the same page with that. Do you have a video on how to make and edit videos for YouTube, social media? What program and equipment do you use? I don't have a video about that because I just, that's not what this channel is about, right? This channel isn't about helping people create content and all that stuff. I love helping people. But yeah, I don't have any content about it because I don't feel like I'm an expert in it. It's just something that I've been sort of like doing. I don't have any background whatsoever in like filming. I don't have any background in like filmmaking or photography or any of that stuff. I just feel like I'm good enough to do it myself. I'm not really sure I'm good enough to teach other people it. But either way, this channel isn't about that, right? I don't want to, if I started putting out content about how to create content, it's like a whole nother, it's a whole nother world, right? And it's going to confuse like the viewership and the algorithm and all that stuff. Like this is what this channel is about. It's about reselling clothing. That's why I don't even really I don't put out content about coffee or anything really either. Once a quarter, I'll put out a post usually about coffee, because I'm trying to stay, people follow me to talk about reselling and to learn about reselling and to grow their reselling businesses, and they like talking and watching and reselling like I do. So that's why I try to keep this content, this channel specifically focused on, because that's why people have followed me over the years and continue to watch and all that stuff. Now, if you were wanting to learn all this stuff, I think there's much better people to learn from. I can give you a couple of names of people that I follow that create content about creating content. And one of the guys, it's what is it? It's called Viral Video Club. Is that what his name is? Yeah, let me get the link to it right here. But once you start watching videos on a topic, right, your Instagram or Facebook or all these places, they're going to start giving you some more recommendations about it. But I'm going to give you a direct link to this guy, Yassine. I've been following him for a couple of 3 years now, and he's sharp. I actually just watched a video from him yesterday, and I was like, I'm always learning from him. He actually made a recommendation about a book, and I went and bought it. That's the video I watched the other day. That's him right there, Yassine. That's one of the people that I follow about content creation. I would rather you go follow the people that I followed, that I learned from, rather than like following me for that kind of content. It's just not my expertise. There's other people who are just so much smarter than me at it. Go follow them, you know what I mean? Keep in mind that Florida natives think that 70 degrees is winter. True. But when was the last time it was 70 degrees during the day in Florida, right? Like this time of year, it's just like 90 plus all the time. They flew the new person in our department up to the office, and the owner thought it was a good team building. I can build perfectly fine over Google Meet. There is something about being in person, and I am all for remote work. And in my last job, my job was based in Denver, and I lived in Florida for the last, the last 5 or 6 months that I had that job. But I was remote even when I was in Colorado, because I worked with clients and students that were in Phoenix, Denver, Boulder, San Francisco, and Austin, right? So it made no sense for me to be in the office every single day, because in that office were not my clients. They were kind of all over the place. My boss was in Oregon at the time, right? My direct supervisor, and like my teammates were kind of scattered all over the place too. So although there were some people I did direct work with in the office in Denver, the people that I worked most closely with, my clients, my students, and my direct coworkers, my direct boss, weren't in Denver. But it was fun to go in and meet some of these people. It was always interesting too. I remember I had 2 different direct supervisors in my time that I worked for that company. They were both remote. They both lived states away. One lived in Phoenix, Maria. When I met Maria, I thought she was going to be tall, because Maria had a lot of like command. She had a lot of presence, and I always met with her on Zoom, right? And she was just she had a big personality, big presence in a room type of person. So I just assumed, you equate those things with somebody who's tall. And then I remember I met her at the train station in Denver, at Union Station, when she flew in and came and visited the Denver campus. And I was like looking way down at her. I'm like, I got to tell you, Maria, I thought you were super tall and you're super short. She was like 5'2" or something, it's like, geez, I thought you were tall, And then my next boss, what was her name? She didn't, she wasn't really like a fill up the room type of personality. She was an awesome person, but she just, she was more introverted, calm. And I always thought that she was just short, because you just equate certain personalities with, like characteristics, I guess you equate with a certain type of person. And then I met her, and she was really tall, and like when she came into it, I met her at the train station. So it was kind of funny. I think it is interesting to kind of go meet with people that you've always worked remotely from. But I get the idea that you just wanted to stay home. Does your wife thrift for stuff to resell, or is that your department? My wife has a full-time job, so that's my department. When she goes out with me on a rare occasion, like she did in Virginia, she'll like look through some racks and stuff too, and she'll be like, hey, what do you think of this, and what do you think of that? Because obviously she's like around and she hears me talk about brands and stuff like that, so she picks up on it. But she's got a full-time job, and she's usually like very rarely in a thrift store with me. And if she is in a thrift store with me, she'll be in there for like 15 minutes. She'll look for something for herself. She maybe finds it. She'll cash out. She'll be like, I'll be waiting in the car. She's like, it's not really her thing. She's like, I don't want to do this. This is not my idea of fun on the weekends. So anyway, what's up, Ben? How are you? I agree with you. The biggest negative was that I built my reselling business around working from home, listing on breaks, packing items that sell in the middle of the day. I know all about that. That's how my business started, my man. I love it. And being here for the USPS daily pickup was hard. Yeah, I get it totally. What is the key to selling more, increasing inventory? I mean, I think there's a few keys. If you have more stuff to sell, you'll probably sell more stuff. But I'd say also, really focusing on in-demand items. In anything you can do to increase the quality of your listings, better photos, measurements, better keywords, listing on multiple platforms so you have a bigger audience. There's no like, everyone wants to know like, what's the key, what's the secret? Well, there's like really like, there's like 10 things that you got to do really well because you're competing in a very competitive marketplaces on eBay, Poshmark, when you're selling clothing. You're competing against people who are selling the exact same item as you in the exact size and the exact pattern. So you got to beat them in a lot of different ways. You got to either beat them on price, you got to beat them on like photos and presentation. You got to be promoting to show up higher in search results so they see your listing and not theirs. You got to be on multiple platforms. You got to make sure you have measurements in your listings to create that buyer confidence that it's going to fit for them. You just got to be beating people. There's no one key, right? You got to do a lot of things really well to succeed in a competitive marketplace. It's like when I used to run restaurants and people were like, what's the secret? What's the key to running a successful restaurant? Like, you got to do like 50 things really good, and you got to do them really good, really consistently every, 7 days a week, every hour, every shift, and you have to have a lot of talented people to execute on all those things. So there's no like one secret. It's like, you got to do all the shit really good because you're competing with a lot of other restaurants, many of which are right down the street, across the street, you get it. So same thing in reselling, eBay, Poshmark sort of thing. A lot of competition, so you got to crush a lot of things. There's no one single key. I follow a girl that resell, and she had an offer for a plush for $200, listed for $390 for 299 days. She paid 25 cents in the bins for that, and was asking if must accept it. I told her yes to accept. Yeah, I mean, take the money. I agree with you on that. It's listed for 299 days. Take that money and run. I'm with you. We got more sales on eBay. We got a lot of stuff. Poshmark, Mercari. We barely shipped anything. Here's one of our best sales of the weekend, maybe the best sale of the weekend. So this is a Banana Republic 2-piece suit, and the star of the show here is that pattern. See that Glen plaid pattern on that? That's what sold this. So 2-piece suit, Glen plaid. Glen plaid, I say it all the time, is really, really hot right now. We were watching at a restaurant that we ate at last night. They always have one TV that's devoted to like Price is Right and that kind of stuff. I don't know what channel it is, but they always have it on at this one restaurant. It's down the street from us. We really enjoy that spot. And they had Price is Right on yesterday. And what was Bob Barker wearing? It was like probably like 1984 was probably the year, and he was wearing a Glen plaid suit. It was brown Glen plaid, just like this one. This one's gray though. And I was saying to Kim, I was like, that's funny because that was hot way back then. It's kind of a timeless pattern too. Like it's always been in style, but right now it's just super, super hot again. Sold for $89.99 on a best offer. I paid $10 for this at the thrift store, and it only took, got some fast sales here to start off our show. 3 days to sell on this. This was listed for 3 days. So eBay sale, $89.99 plus $12.95 shipping. This is going to Puerto Rico. So there's a lot. There's no key to reselling suits and blazers. There's no one thing, just like anything. It's a formula. It's the size, it's the pattern, it's the materials, it's the brand, it's the model, and all that stuff matters. But if you're going to focus on one thing as you're getting started, pay attention to patterns, because right now that's what I'm having the most success with. You do have to pay attention to the other things too, but patterns are so huge right now. This is going to Puerto Rico. KE. I'm going to tell you what my my total profits are after shipping and fees on this one here. So eBay's going to pay me out after shipping and fees $67.61. I paid $10, so $57 and change is my profit on this item. And again, it was listed for 3 days. On average, suits are my highest margin item that I sell in my store. A lot of suits sell for $100 plus, and in my local area, I pay $10 for 2-piece suits. When I travel around to other thrift stores across the country, I do see various prices for suits. When we were in Virginia, there were 2 different prices, but one of the places was $16 for suits. I would have bought this for $16 too. Of course, I'm happy that I paid $10 locally here, but great sale right there. $57 in profit off of 1 round of photos and measurements and only 3 days to sell. I'll take that every single time. So my biggest Poshmark bundle thus far, 7 PRL and Tommy Bahama shirts. Nice sale, Ben. I like that. Glad to hear it. Work has been crazy. Happy to catch you live. Glad that you call live. Welcome back, Swiss. Always good to have you. The store size goal always came with an asterisk. It's easy to list items and grow your store, but you want to have quality items. I like a sales goal more than a quality goal. I like it. You're a teller and a seller. What's up? Who Production? Thanks for the vibes. Appreciate it. What do we got? And if you're selling anything, I'm not buying. Just to be clear. Charles Tyrwhitt. This is not a brand that I recommend that a lot of people just run out and pick up. Especially for shirts, it can be a low sell-through rate. This one sold pretty quickly though. $18.99 it sold for on eBay. This took 3 days to sell. Go figure. These don't typically sell that fast for me. I do think it has a nice modern pattern to it. It is a men's size 17 by 34, and it's an extra slim fit, 100% cotton. Charles Tyrwhitt is a British brand. And it just, the shirts, the button-down shirts just don't sell super well. If you are going to pick up Charles Tyrwhitt, pay low prices. Like, get them for the bins. Pay like $1 or $2 at the bins, and I think you can consistently sell these for $15 to $17. If you can get them for $1 or $2, that makes sense. If you're paying $5, $6, or $8 for shirts, I don't think Charles Tyrwhitt makes a lot of sense. Even though this one did sell fast, that's not my typical experience with Charles Tyrwhitt. But it was a 3-day sale, so we will take that. I paid $5, sold for $18.99. My profit on this is probably like $9, so nothing to get excited about, but that fills the cart and fills the bank account. So, of course, I'd rather sell more of those suits and make $50-something profit on each one. I found a Senya wool pinstriped full suit, no size, looks custom. Would you have picked it up for $35? $35 is a lot, but the best thing, I don't really know about your business model closer to homemade. It's a good question. But what I would do if I was in your scenario is I would look up similar Hermenegildo Senya suits that are wool and pinstriped and look at what those are selling for on average, like recent sales. I would also look at the sell-through rate of those items and then see, okay, based on that, does that fit your business model? Is that margin going to be enough for you? And without looking at the suit, it's really hard for me to answer that question because I'd want to look at like how thick is the lapel? Is it a thinner lapel? I want to look at the tag. Is this a more modern Xenia suit? What is the model? Whatever. I know you said there's like no size tag, but for me, it's just more important. Like just with what you have on there, I can't answer your question. I just can't. I would need more information. So I would instead just encourage you to go do those steps and just see, does that item, based on what you're seeing for sales data and sell-through rates, does that make sense for your business model? Are you comfortable paying that kind of money for it? If it's going to sell for $150, sure, I'll pay $35 for it, right? But I'm not looking at the suit, so I'm not really sure what its value is. I'm back. Work got busy. Welcome back. It's good to have you back. Your favorite resellers. Oh, I appreciate the vibes. I really do. I appreciate that. I don't take it for granted at all that y'all are watching me while I sit here in my second bedroom flapping my gums about used clothing on the internet. I don't take it for granted. I really appreciate it. Swiss, I have to give you a huge thanks. Being in Virginia Beach, I have found tons of great suits that I wouldn't have looked at if I didn't watch you. Bought 12 suit jackets and 7 dress pants so far. Let's go, Swiss. You're very welcome. I want you all to make money. When do you want to go thrifting in Vegas with us? That could be fun. I would say in cooler weather. I'm not a hot weather fan, so I'd say when it gets cooler, we could consider something like that. Those solid whites and Charles Tyrrell move strong. Yep, absolutely. Solid whites in a lot of dress shirts brands, including Charles Tyrrell, tend to sell with a better sell-through rate than like pattern shirts, and they tend to sell for a little bit extra money too. So yep, 100%. Charles Tyrrell included. Do you sell shoes? I do. Vince from Chicago. Welcome in, Vince. Good to have you. Next item on eBay is we're going to start moving and grooving. We're going to cook through some stuff. Great sales to start off the show. I'm just going in chronological order in terms of how they sold. So here's a pair of Brooks Brothers corduroy pants. These sold for $24.99. I paid $5 for them. Corduroy pants are definitely a fall item. I sold 2 pairs of Brooks Brothers corduroy pants this week too. So this pair took 27 days to sell in that navy blue color right there. I paid $5 for it. So nice sale here. Probably like something like a $13 or $14 profit on this. I'll take it. And that's kind of like right down the middle. My business. Buy something for $5, sell it for $25. That's very, very average. Of course, we sell higher price stuff and some stuff that's a little bit lower price, but that's the core of the business. Is just have a lot of volume of stuff that I buy for $5 and sell for $25. So Brooks Brothers, the size on these is 32 by 30. If you care, this is a modern pair of Brooks Brothers, modern tag. This was 100% cotton. It was flat front. I pick these up all the time for $5. Brooks Brothers corduroy. I like picking up their khakis too, but the corduroys will have a better sell-through rate, particularly in the fall and winter time. But we'll take that summertime sale. Again, 2 of them out the door. Brooks Brothers corduroys just this week. Next up is we've got a lot of fast sales so far today. Everything was fast. 3 days, 1 day. That one was what, 20-something day? What did I say on that one? 27 days. Everything under a month so far, but this one was not under a month. This next one took, I didn't write down the day that I listed this one. For whatever reason, I just didn't record that. I feel like I picked this up like back in January, but that's just a total guess. So we're just going to say January on this one. I thought this would actually sell pretty quickly because look at the pattern on this. It's got this like all over nautical print, right? Definitely unique, definitely summertime vibes. I thought this would be a nice quick seller. I priced it a little high, like $24.99. Typically these Brooks Brothers performance polos are more like a $20 to $22 seller, but you see what I'm looking at here. I'm like, that thing's somebody's got to pay up for a really cool all over print like that on a performance golf polo. Like it's a polyester blend, right? So definitely a golf polo. I accepted an offer of $20 on this one. So, and it took 7 months. Maybe if I priced it at $20, it could have sold 6 months ago. Who knows? But sometimes when I find kind of a more unique item, I'll price it up a little bit, see if I can get a few extra bucks. The reality is I probably should have priced it at like $21.99 or something like that. Probably would have got a quick sale. This is going to Scott in Bethesda, Maryland. Cool shirt. I think it was a great shirt. I would buy this again, even though it took a while to sell. The only thing I would do differently is I would just price it a little bit more aggressively. So I don't know. I might still price this at $24.99 if I found it right now. But no, I'd probably do like $21 or $22.99. I think I was at $24.99. You always ask if we care. Of course we do. Well, thanks, Mandy. I'm glad to have you. Always appreciate having you here in the live. How many items do you list daily? I don't do daily listings, but I typically list 70 to 80 items a week. I listed 85 items last week. Next up is, I probably won't list anything today. Next up is Rain Spooner. Brand new with tags. I bought 3 of these back to back to back at one thrift store. All brand new with tag Rain Spooners. All all over prints. This is the last one to sell. So this one I picked this up March 31st. So this took 109 days to sell. So just over, I guess that's 3.5 months it took to sell. But the other 2 sold a lot quicker. Let's just take a look at those other 2. The other one sold 53 days was one of them. And the first one was 34 days. So 34, 53, and 109. All brand new with tags. all rain spooners. This one sold for full asking price, $69.99. I paid $5 a piece for these at the thrift store. So now they're all gone. The other one, the one that sold in 53 days, also sold for $69.99 full asking price. And the other, so all three of them actually sold for $69.99 a piece. And I paid $5 a piece at a thrift store. So $15 spent on these three and $210 plus shipping. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. They were all car patterns, just like kind of different patterns. And I think they were all size large too. So really cool find there. $70 sale. And my profit after fees on that is I knew that was like a wait for the right buyer type of item. And I priced them up and nobody made an offer on them. All three of the people paid full price. So it's like the classic example of wait for the right buyer. Let's see what my fee. So after profit or after fees and shipping label, eBay's got to pay me out $53 and I paid $5. So that's crazy. So I paid $5. So my profit's going to be $48 and I sold three of these. So we're basically talking about $150 or $145 worth of profit from these three $5 finds. Pretty good, I would say. This is going to Kelso, Washington. I feel like this is going to somebody who's got to wear this to like a classic car show. You know what I mean? Like a guy who's got like I don't know what it's got on it. Like an old Chevy or something like that. And he's going to like rock this at a car show. I feel like it's a great car show shirt to have like a Hawaiian shirt with cars all over it, like classic cars. Just dominate the car show with a shirt like that. What do we got here? I sold a USC Trojans rain spooner shirt for $80 that I picked up for $6. That's awesome. I actually sold that Red Sox one that I found in my in Richmond. Red Sox rain spooner sold for $30. I shipped it out on Saturday. I think it sold like within a matter of like a few hours of me listing it, which is really cool. The Red Sox have also won 13 games in a row. Like they're just like red hot right now. So I feel like they're getting a lot of attention. Got an offer on a pair. Oh, we got some action. Got some action here. Hey, y'all gotta like this. Those of you who have watched the channel for a little bit are gonna enjoy this sale. Just don't want to show the person's address or their name. So some of you might recognize that right there. The Delaware Blue Hens Columbia, that just sold since we went live. That went for, what was the price on that? Sold for full asking price, $25.99. So I think that might be the last of those Columbia Blue Hens were now sold out. And I know a lot of you laughed at me when I picked those up in, I think that was March in Winston-Salem. And I know a lot of you are like, oh man, he's got to get stuck with those forever. They're all gone. It's only July. And all of them sold for above $20 a piece. So I made my profit on that. I didn't get rich off of it, but I knew that those would sell and that's it. They're gone. Well, I still got to ship that one, but you get the idea. I slipped in an old Reader's Digest. Oh, there's like a double comment. I'm getting the feeling here. Mendy, let me see your first one. Nope, maybe not. I slipped in an old Reader's Digest to make package over 2 pounds. I don't charge for shipping, so save $7 in shipping. I like it, Mendy. Good stuff. Making that dough. How big is your inventory? About 1,450 listings right now. What's going on? Peter's in the house. Good to have you, Peter. Been a little bit. I'm glad that you're back, and it's always good. It's always a pleasure to have you here. For your records, how precise are you on data purchase, cost of goods, location, and purchase, et cetera, for taxes at the end of the year? For tax purposes, Thomas, I don't record. The only thing I record is the receipt. So here's a bag of receipts right here from July. And it's got a few of my receipts in it. I still got to add the other ones, but just a little Ziploc. And I throw this in a box with other ones that say, June 2026 and all that stuff. But when I just record the receipts. So this one right here says $90, right? $90. So I just put, for tax purposes, I just record the $90. I don't individually record the price of each item. But generally I remember it if I picked it up locally because everything's flat rate pricing at my thrift store. So when I say I bought something for $5 and flipped like this last rain spooner and sold it for $69.99. It's because I know I picked this. I remember picking it up at a local Goodwill. So all the shirts are $5, if that makes sense. But I don't record cost of goods per individual item. I just don't do it. So hopefully that helps. But there's different ways to do it. You can do a cost average. So $90 divided by the 12 items, whatever that works out to be, you can do it that way. There's so many different ways to do it. Just make sure that you run it by your tax professional, your CPA, whoever you're working with, and make sure that they're like, yeah, that's good. Hi, Chris. Just sourced a pair of Ermenegildo Senya corduroy pants and a twillory blazer. Nice. Those are both good pickups. I recently sold a pair of Xenia corduroys for something like $60. So that's a good find. And those twillory blazers are great. I don't know that I've ever found a twillory blazer, but I actually want to buy. They have something called the Twillory Air Suit. I really want to buy that. It comes up in my Instagram ads all the time. It's like a really, really thin, breathable suit. Of course, I have nothing to wear a suit to, but I just, for some reason, I want that twillory suit. But those blazers are good flips. Can you discuss the positive or negatives of selling under your personal name as opposed to opening a store? Can you tell me a little bit more about what you mean? Like where are you selling under your name versus a store? I'm not sure I understand the question. Discuss the positive or negative of selling under your personal name as opposed to opening a store. I'm not really sure I understand like what you're, I mean, I get the idea, but I don't know like what, is it eBay or what do you, I'm not sure. I don't understand the question. I'm sorry. Maybe give me some more context. Maybe that'll help me. I found a new open box radar detector for a vehicle that retails for over $700. I will be sticking it in my tote of $500 plus items until I need the cash. I found a new open box radar detector for a vehicle that retails for $700. I will be sticking it in my tote of $500 plus items until I need that cash. You're not going to sell it? What's going on here, Bass? That's a great find, by the way. But what are you doing? You're saving it for a rainy day? Just go sell it and put the money in the bank and like invest it or something. I don't think I understand what you're saying. You're going to store that item and just wait to sell it? Just sell it. Get the money. Store the money and get interest. Is that what you're, maybe I'm just misunderstanding you. Is there steps we need to take for our items to show up on the Whatnot marketplace? I've had no action on there and can't locate my items when searching. Great. So this is an awesome question. I'm glad somebody brought it up. I get this question, honestly, lately it's been like anywhere between 2 and 5 times a week. I feel like this might be a little blurry. Hold on a second. So let's talk about that in a second. I'm just like looking at the screen. I'm like, I wonder if that's just needs a little wipe. Is that better? Almost felt like it was a little blurry. So let's talk about that. I get this question a lot. So some of you, so I'm guessing, Miss All-Star, that this is what's happening. You've never done a live show on Whatnot, but you're using Nifty to cross-list your stuff because you want to sell it on Whatnot's marketplace, which is what I do. We have a sale going out today on Whatnot as well. But what you're seeing is that when you search for your items on the marketplace, they're actually not showing up in your search result. So what's happened is you haven't run a live show yet. So there's like a switch that happens when you've done a live show, and I think you've sold like $150 worth of stuff. And I think it has to be to like 5 or more different customers or something like that. I forget what the actual numbers are, but there's some sort of switch that turns on that says like, hey, you're a reputable seller, right? You've shipped all these items. You've had a certain amount of thumbs up and not too many thumbs down, right? And they're like, cool, you're a good seller. And then your marketplace items show up. So there's an automated switch that happens. But since you're not doing lives, I'm guessing, you're not going to get that switch because you're not going to get sales because your stuff isn't showing up. It's like a catch-22. Nobody can buy your stuff because they can't see it. So you can't get positive reviews and thumbs up. So you're stuck. What I would do is I would reach out directly to Whatnot customer support and tell them exactly what's happening. My stuff is, I don't sell live. I'm just looking to sell in the marketplace, like just in the marketplace. And none of my items are showing up right now. Can you help my items show up in search results so I can sell actively on Whatnot? Whatnot is a business. They want to make money. And I just don't think that they've figured out that there's an issue here or how to fix this issue with getting people green lighted. But I want you to reach out to Whatnot's support and tell them your exact situation and ask them to help you so that you can sell stuff on there so they can make money and you can make money too. They want your business. They want stuff to sell on that marketplace. And they've said themselves that they really want marketplace to grow. So you just need to get the right person. The first person you reach out to might not give you the answer that you want. reach out to, to start a new ticket and start again. What we have had, I've had 4 or 5, maybe more people reach out to me and say that they've taken these extra steps. They've reached out to customer support on Whatnot, and they've gotten fixed, and now their stuff is visible, and now they're getting sales. So reach out to customer support. Be very specific about what you're trying to do. I don't want to do lives. I'm just cross-listing over to your marketplace. I've already pushed 300 units over there, but none of them are visible, right? They want to make money, so they have a vested interest into getting your stuff green lighted and turned on. So I didn't have to go through that because I've sold on live. I've done many lives, sold thousands of items on Whatnot live. So I was already green lighted when I started putting my stuff over there. Neat. I've been through Kelso many times. That's awesome. Small world, right? That was a crazy video. Which video was crazy? I forgot what we're talking about. I had a talk with a manager about a local nonprofit thrift. Used to spend $300 a month in there. All their stuff was $4. They start hiking the price on some stuff, going up to 25 to 30 on name brand. What did the manager say? I'm interested. I sold this weekend a Polo Ralph Lauren buttoned fly vintage new tag for $60 plus 10 shipping. Nice, Mendy. Nice sale. Hi there, new to online selling. Your content is helpful. Awesome. Welcome in, Charlotte. Welcome aboard. Good to have you. What kind of stuff are you reselling? Love to hear more about it. But good to have you on board over on Facebook. And if you're not subscribed over on YouTube, it's the same name over on YouTube. You might want to subscribe over there. That's where we drop our longer videos, where I go to a thrift store or a number of thrift stores, right? And I do full long videos. I show you exactly what I'm picking up, exactly what I'm passing on. So you might want to check that stuff out too, if you haven't already. Nifty's accounting software is perfect. If you want to be precise, it'll pull from your platforms. Yep, it does really good stuff. I like it. I hate when a commercial comes on YouTube and you're talking. I hear that. I totally hear that. I want to share a dumb moment I had so this doesn't happen to anyone else. I left a Eton French cuff shirt because I thought it was missing the top 3 buttons. I was in a rush to leave for a party. I left a Eton. Oh, you found a tuxedo shirt, didn't you? Is that what you're saying? Looked it up later, and it's meant to be like that. I left $70 in sale behind at the store. Yep. But you know what? What's more important than you getting that $70 sale? What's more important is that you learned, because now you can find that item 3 or 4 times, or similar ones, right? Like it doesn't have to be Eaton, right? You can find other ones too. So the learning is always more important than one sale. You'll get other sales. But now that you've learned something, you'll make much more money moving forward. Huge lesson right there, for free, by the way. For high price items and less waiting for value to go up, like on Pokemon cards, I'll sell as soon as you get it. Might take longer than you want to sell, and value may drop. Fair point. I don't disagree with that. Has anyone scored any of the viral S-Spirit sweatshirts at Costco? They've been selling like crazy. No, I haven't heard of this thing. You'll have to tell me more about that. Contact Whatnot and explain you won't do lives, but want to sell on their platform. They'll take care of you. Mine are showing up. Still no sales. Nice, Desert. You'll get your sales. When do you suggest starting an eBay store rather than selling as an individual? Okay. I understand the question now. Thank you for rephrasing it. There's no like difference between like individual and a store. The only difference with the store is it gives you some options that not having a store doesn't give you. You're still selling as a person. You just have a store, which gives you the ability to run sales. For instance, you can run markdown sales or whatever. So there's not like a certain metric of like, here's when you should upgrade to having a store. I think the starter store is like, what is it, like $5 or $6 or $7 a month. I would say once you want to consistently sell, you're taking eBay seriously. It's not something you're doing like once a month where you're listing 1 or 2 items. Like I'd say when you're getting serious about eBay, go ahead and invest in the starter store, whatever that first store level is. But there's still not a difference between individual and a store. It's still the same thing. It's just you're getting some extra tools at your disposal, if that makes sense. But it's still you. It's still, yeah. She told me that she needs to know this stuff. The old ladies in the back think they're eBay sellers and they're going to get it straightened out. Yeah, the old ladies in the back, there's a good chance that none of them have ever run a business before. There's a good chance that maybe some of those ladies like never actually really worked a job before, right? Just like that generation. Some people were just stay-at-home moms. So for people to sort of like understand the idea of like, hey, we want like items to actually move through the store quickly, you know, they just may not have been familiar with any of that kind of the notions of like sell-through rate and you know, market value and the differences between putting something on a platform that has millions of international shoppers versus like the 17 people who walk into that store that's only open on Tuesdays. So because they just don't have a background with that sort of stuff. So yes, I think it's good that you had that conversation, and hopefully that yields something pretty positive moving forward. I found 2 Brooks Brothers French cuff shirts recently. The first French cuffs found, but they were stained. Boo! You'll find some good ones. Now that your eye's trained, you'll find some more good ones soon. Next up is an order. So this is back-to-back. We just sold a Hawaiian-style shirt, a rain spooner. Here's a Tommy Bahama. This one actually sold quick, too. So Tommy Bahama, 100% silk, nice kind of floral, bold pattern, which is exactly what you look for. Took a best offer on this one, $24.99. This one sold quickly, too. What a quick sale. It's not always just quick like this, but today, for whatever reason, is a quick sale day. I am all lost on my spreadsheet here. Wait for it. Here it is. All right, so this Tommy Bahama sold same day. So this sold, I listed this Saturday, it sold Saturday. So same day, 0 days to sell. So not bad, $24.99. Bigger, bolder patterns, you can price north of 30. I think I priced this one at $27.99 and took that offer at $24.99. I think they started with an offer of like 20 and I countered at $24.99. Doesn't matter. Settled at $24.99. Again, 100% silk, good pattern, like good floral pattern. That's what I tend to do really well with. But if you overprice them, you might have to sit on them for a little while. So $24.99 plus $6.95 shipping on that one. I paid $5 at the thrift just this week. It's out the door in less than 24 hours. I like it. Listed Saturday, sold Saturday. Did a lot of fast sales. Fast sales this weekend. I like it. We're down to find some like slower ones here too. Here are some slower ones. So we got a Tommy Bahama hat here. It's this one right here. So I bought a whole bunch of these Tommy Bahama hats. I paid $4 a piece for them. You can see the tag right there on a clearance. So $4 a piece. A lot of these were like multi-quantity. So I still have a few more of this one. I still have a few more of this one. So whatever. They slowly sell. This one sold for $17.99. That might be my full price now. I've lowered the price, but I probably picked up 100 or so of these. And my guess is I probably have like 30 of them left. They're selling slowly, but I don't particularly mind it. They sell. This one's kind of cool. Got the marlin on the front, and then when you look on the inside, a lot of these have this. It's got like a recipe for a margarita, I believe. Yeah, a Baja margarita on the inside of it. So brand new tags, Tommy. I don't know what the retail price is on these, but it sold. I'm going to throw this in an 8x6x6 box. This might actually fit in an 8x6x4 because it's kind of not like a high brim. I think it'll fit in an 8x6x4. Let's just do the 8x6x6. It's a better fit for sure. Walked into the Salvation Army, pair of RRL jeans on the rack. Let's go. About passed out, strangely non-salvage. Didn't know they made non-salvage. Yeah, they make non-salvage. I've found non-salvage before. Great find, though. Really great find. That's exciting. Really exciting to find some RRL jeans. Back-to-back hats here. So this Tommy hat sold. And if you've been watching these lives, I haven't been selling a lot of hats lately. But back-to-back hats right here. This is my last Yeti one. Out of stock now there. I forget how much I got these for. This says retail $25 on this. People really got to like their sodas cold to have a hat. It's kind of funny to like have a hat that's a cooler brand. It's interesting that a cooler brand has become so popular that they want to wear that brand name on their head because they really like cold sodas. It's interesting to me. But we'll take it. This one sold for $12.95. I think that's my full asking. No, that was a nifty best offer. I think $12.95 on that. I woke up to did I wake up to that sale? No, that sold yesterday. I woke up to the sale yesterday. Sorry, that's what happened. 2 hats sold overnight, Saturday night into Sunday. What did I miss? Got that one. Walked into my Salvation Army. Got the RL. Love it. What's up, Trish? How was your National Hot Dog Day? It was awesome. I didn't have a hot dog, though. I can't actually remember the last time I ate a hot dog. When you have a store, you get a coupon every month for eBay packing supplies, $25. Also, you can list more items at no charge rather than paying like 20 cents an item. Yes, you get that coupon when you get to that second level of store. So the first store is called the starter store. You don't get any coupon for eBay shipping supplies with that. But when you upgrade to the next level, which is the basic store, that's when you start getting coupons. So you get $25 every quarter to use on eBay, overpriced eBay shipping supplies. And then when you get if you get the premium store, you get $50 every quarter. But good clarification on those. I appreciate that, Queen. You also earn seller protections. Is that so? When you pay for a store, you get seller protections that you didn't otherwise have? I don't know that I was aware of that. That's interesting. Can someone confirm that? I follow up on a Whatnot question. Do you have to go live first to be able to have your listings be visible? Just wondering if it's a requirement prior to using the Buy It Now. So we just talked about this a couple minutes ago. Did you just walk in maybe? Because we just talked about that. So what I would encourage you to do is Ellis, I'll just call it Ellie, I guess, for short, if that works. So first, you want to look in the marketplace, like search the Whatnot marketplace to see if your items are showing up. Like just copy and paste like the titles of 3 of your items into the Whatnot marketplace search bar and see if your stuff is actually showing up. If it's not, I'm going to encourage you to reach out to Whatnot and let them know what you're experiencing. Hey, I don't want to do live selling. I do want to sell on your marketplace. I have 300 items cross-listed over to your marketplace. None of them are visible right now. Can you help me get those items visible so I can make sales and you can make fees and see what happens? I saw that same hot not so long ago. Didn't think anything of it. Lol. Every quarter. Sorry, not every month. I wish. Yeah, exactly. I'm doing good. Actually working on listing stuff for the first time in 2 months. Nice job. You're so busy with all them CDs on the wall. You got to get some stuff listed. I don't know what you're actually busy with. I think you're just like going to music. I just imagine Trisha's life is you're just like eating tacos and going and seeing concerts. Like I feel like that's your life, but maybe I'm wrong. It's the social media life anyway. No, you have to contact Whatnot through. Yep, there you go. Popping into your live on our way back from Florida. Yay! Have safe travels back home. Hope you had a great trip. Can't wait to hear about it. Are you picking up a Joseph A. Bank Joseph line full suit for $8.99? What price range do you list those? Found one 41R charcoal color. Awesome question. Without seeing the suit, or I think you said a suit. Yeah. Without seeing the suit, I can't in good faith answer that question because I make decisions about what I'm going to pick up with my eyes. I'm looking at how old is that label? Is it a modern cut? What's the pattern look like? Yeah. So to me, I have to look at it, to give you a straight answer on that. So it's not fair
for me just to read those words and give you an answer. I don't pick up everything from Joseph A. Bank. I have to look at it, and it has to look like something that I sell. So I can't answer your question, but $8.99 is a good price. I typically sell Joseph A. Bank suits for around $70 or $80 if it's, like a modern whatever. So, but yeah, you can take a look at the exact suit that you found, look at very similar items that have sold recently on eBay, see what those average sale prices are, and then get an idea of like what the sell-through rate is, and see if that $8.99 buy cost and whatever that profit and sell-through rate, see if those metrics fit your individual business. Because I don't know like what your metrics are. I don't know anything about your listing process, or your cross-listing, or using automation tools. How great are your photos? I just don't know. But I can't prescribe a suit for you that I can't see and without really knowing more about your store. But I can tell you how to make really good decisions. And those suggestions I just made, I think, are good suggestions. I believe so because every time I call them, they gas me up about being top rated. So I am protected against blah, blah, blah. Mostly I call to get my shipping back on false in ads. Yeah, I don't know that top rated is connected to paying for a store. From what I understand, top rated is just based on hitting certain metrics in terms of shipping your items on time, not having, cases that are unsettled and all that. So, it's like seller quality metrics. I don't think you have to pay for a store to become top rated. I think top rated, you just have to hit certain performance metrics as a seller, but I could be wrong. I've been wrong before, but not today. Maybe I have been today. But yeah, hope that, I don't know. I would just ask ChatGPT these questions probably and see what it tells me. Yep. I started getting a store so many years ago. It's like, I don't really remember what the decision was like to get a store and what I got from buying a store. And also the store, all that stuff has changed over the years too. So I just haven't kept up with it. So I would probably have to just do an internet search and see what all that stuff says. What are the advantages of getting a store? I've just asked ChatGPT, frankly. The CD stuff and taking care of my mom, eating tacos and drinking beers. It's a good life over there you're living. Trisha, you're doing all right if you ask me. All right, let's ship out this hat here. This one's going to Frank in Baltimore, Maryland. We're shipping a lot to Maryland today. I think that's our second Maryland. The last one was to Virginia. I'll tell you, the 4 days that we spent total up in the Virginia area, Virginia, DC, Richmond, man, it was so hot and humid. The humidity was just unbelievable. I don't know how y'all do it. It was so nice to get back up to the mountains where it was not like purgatory. I mean, it was just, I feel like I sweat. We were there for 96 hours. I feel like I sweat, like full body sweat for 93 of those 96 hours. Even inside the stores, I feel like the air conditioning couldn't keep up with how hot and humid it was. Here's another really fast sale. I just listed this. I feel like this take 1 day to sell. So this is a Polo Ralph Lauren linen. It's got the pony on the chest, 100% linen. I knew this would sell quickly. It did. It took 1 day to sell. So I accepted a best offer, $27.88 on this one. And 1 day to sell. I paid $5 at the thrift store. So probably a good $15 profit on that. And it sat out in the garage for 24 hours. You can't beat that. This is going to the Big Apple, New York, New York. I think it's fun seeing kind of all the different places that stuff ships to. Next one's going to Philadelphia. Oh, we got New York, New York, Philadelphia, and then another New York, New York, and then another Maryland. That'll be our third Maryland. Anyway, I don't know why that stuff fascinates me, but it does. Simple minds get entertained by simple things, I suppose. I decided to get a store basic when I had more than 250 listings in a month and wanted to run a sale for Black Friday. There you go. I think that's the big thing, right? Is that you can run sales. I think that's the big selling point to the starter store, right? For when people want to switch to that, right? And then it becomes how many listings do you have and how many free listings, whatever. Hope all is well. Everything's great. I appreciate the positive vibes, neighbor, and hope you're doing well too. Thanks for the vibes. One of the suits I found here in VB, I guess that's Virginia Beach, was a full custom Seville row, and similar comps are in the 400 to 500 range. Nice. Never would have stopped for a second look if you weren't always showing suits. That's a good one. I don't know if I've ever bought and sold a Seville row. Excuse me. I'll have to keep my eye out for that. Too much sparkling water over here. What did I miss here? Can you explain why people say you should list every day, but then you state you don't list every day? How does that work? What is the way? So with eBay, there's been, an age-old recommendation from resellers and, reseller content creators to list every day to feed the algorithm, because eBay, Poshmark, Mercari, Facebook, all these things have these algorithms, which are essentially formulas that are developed. And the formula is basically just telling who's going to show up higher in search results and all this madness, right? And nobody really knows what any of these what these algorithms exactly are, right? Because eBay doesn't release like, here's what our algorithm is. Facebook doesn't release like, here's what our algorithm to go viral is. They don't release that stuff. They don't tell you what the formula is. It's all proprietary stuff. But for years, people have said listing every day helps you get more sales. And so you have people who do things like people come into these lives, and there are people who pipe up right now who have something like 100 items that are drafted. They've drafted these items. So they've taken the photos, they've taken the measurements, they've written the item title, they've written the description, and they've saved this as a draft, and they haven't pushed it, because what they want to do is they're saving that because they're not going to list on Saturday and Sunday. So they want to make sure that they list on Saturday and Sunday. And, God forbid if they go on vacation, right, they want to be able to make sure that they have a bank of drafts so that they can list those drafts while they're on vacation, or schedule them while they're on vacation or whatever. And that's been age-old advice on eBay. And I'm not going to tell you that the advice is wrong, because I don't know what the algorithm is, and nobody really does. But I've had spells where I've listed every day. I've had spells where I didn't list every day. But to me, if I made 100 listings today, I would rather list all 100 of those items today and not save them for later. Because the one thing that I know, and this is just simple, basic logic, an item can't sell if it's in the drafts. If it's not listed, it can't sell. So all the voodoo witch magic that people are going to say about the algorithm, nobody actually knows. But one thing that we all know and we can all agree on, if it's in your drafts, it absolutely cannot sell. But all that being said, I use Nifty, which has built-in automation tools. So every single day I have items being relisted by Nifty. So the algorithm, whatever the algorithm is going to be happy with activity. Every algorithm likes activity. So they like listing, they like offers, they like sales. In Poshmark, they like shares, right? And so I have built in Nifty is sharing items on Poshmark every single day, constantly. It is delisting and relisting items every single day on eBay, Poshmark, and Mercari. And I'm going to bring up my automation tools right now to show you exactly what's happening. So I don't know what the algorithm exactly likes. I don't know what that formula is, but I know the formula likes activity. We all can agree on that too. We don't know exactly what it likes, but we know it likes activity, like listings on a regular basis. I think it's hard to argue, though, that 100 listings today is worse than 100 listings spread out across 5 days, but you'll have people that will argue to the end of their days. And I'm not ready. I don't care about that argument, because I have this going on for me. 28 recreates today on eBay alone. So that means the item has been ended because it's been on eBay for 30 days. Nifty ends it, creates a brand new listing, which means it has a new URL and a new item number. I'm hidden behind this comment. But there you go. You can see me now. Really small, but can I make that bigger? Doesn't matter. But yes, this is happening. And on Poshmark, you can see it's already shared 3,000 times. So it's feeding that activity. It's sent 21 auto offers. It's followed 500 people. Poshmark loves activity. So it's giving it all the activity that it craves. eBay, it's sending those offers, 19 of them today. It's recreating those items, 21 new listings today. So I don't have to list every day, because I have 28 new listings today, whether I list something or I don't list something. So that's whatever you think about the algorithm, everybody has a different interpretation. To me, it's all sort of black cauldron witch magic stuff. But we know that they like these things like activity. And I have a tool, this automation tool, Nifty, gives all these platforms activity. I didn't show you Mercari, but there's 2 offers sent today on Mercari. 15 items have been ended and listed. So activity happening everywhere. That's why I don't have to worry about listing every day. I have weekly listing goals, 70 to 80 items every week. Last week I did 85. That's good. And that's all I have to worry about. I don't have to worry about this daily thing, saving drafts, whatever. As soon as I make a listing, it goes live, because it can't sell if it sits in my drafts. That we can all agree on. There's like no argument against that. If it ain't listed, it ain't selling. There's just no way it can. I noticed you're not selling jeans lately, right? Haven't seen any sales on Amazon lately. Not selling jeans lately. Haven't seen any sales on Amazon lately. I already shipped a couple pairs, I think 2 pairs of jeans already today, and I have 4 more pairs of jeans going out. So jeans have been selling for sure. Amazon's been slow for me lately, but I haven't been sourcing for Amazon much in recent months. So you're right there. ChatGPT says that top rated, you do not have to pay for the store. Boom, there you go. Thank you, Queen. The benefit you're getting from the store, if you're a new seller, is that you can run the sales. That's the big benefit right there. So thank you for clarifying that, Queen. I'm reselling clothing, mainly men's. I had a resale shop that closed in 2015, had a good run, and it was fun and profitable. The online gig is a totally different animal. Absolutely. So it closed in 2015. So you know your stuff if you ran an in-person store, but it's a pretty cool experience. Thank you for sharing that. Hopefully you're enjoying the online thing. Yeah, totally a different beast, right? One of the biggest things is like with like slightly flawed items. You can sell slightly flawed items in like an in-person store, right? Because that person can look at it, they can clearly see like, oh, it's like a small little stain, I'm comfortable with that, or there's like a little pull like I'm comfortable with that, and it's the only one in the store. But when you sell that same item on eBay, you're competing against somebody else who has the exact same item, the exact same size, and that one doesn't have a flaw. So to me, that's like one of the big examples between online versus in-person, is that there is no direct competition with the same exact item that's literally an inch away, like on your screen. I'm pointing to my screen. You're scrolling through, like you can find the same one, not flawed, 1 inch away, both above and beyond, or above and below, right? There's going to be a version, same color, same size, same brand, same model. And so that's the difference. Like one of the differences, like in-store, and I'm sure you can share more examples of that. You can also sell items that aren't name brand better in a store that's like in person, right? Because someone can just buy it for the style. Whereas on eBay, it's more difficult to sort of find a style. It's like very common for people to search for brands and all that stuff. So those would be like, I guess, 2 kind of probably things that you're seeing that are different. But you could probably list more than I can because you've had both experiences. I've never ran an in-person resale shop before. I sold a Ralph Lauren seersucker suit, $175 on Posh this weekend, listed 7 days. I have 4 more to list. Awesome. You have 4 more seersucker suits. That's a great sale, by the way. Thank you for sharing. That's really, really cool. You can schedule listings in Nifty. You absolutely can. But again, if you schedule it to sell on Wednesday, I promise you it won't sell today and it won't sell tomorrow. There's no chance it will sell until at least Wednesday. As soon as my listings are done, they go up. If you use an automation tool that is delisting and relisting items every single day, and you are scheduling out listings objectively, and people are probably going to get mad about this, objectively, that's not better for your sales. There's just no way. Because the algorithm is getting fed by your automation tools already, you don't have to worry about that. It's already getting fed. The algorithm monster is happy. Just get your items up. Why schedule them? Get them up. They can't sell if they're not up. I will say the old advice does seem outdated. The only reason I have a bank and Nifty is because I buy more inventory than I list. I can't say no to a sure thing. Gotcha. But if you've already created the listing, you've already taken the photos, you've already taken the measurements, you've already written the item title and written out a description, I don't understand hitting the schedule button. It takes less time to just push it up than it does to schedule it. Get it up there. It can't. How many items did I tell you sold in one day this weekend? You might have had those same items sitting in your drafts, right? That you're like, or scheduled. I sold the item. It's gone. And now that customer they're satiated. They got the items they wanted. They don't need yours now. Like, why miss out on the potential for a buyer by having it, again, if you have automation tools that are doing stuff for you, delisting and relisting, sharing, and sending offers on a regular basis, your algorithm's taken care of. Forget the daily listing. Get your stuff up. It can't sell if it's not sold. What is your general return on eBay? What is your general return on policy? Return on policy on eBay. I think you're asking about my return policy. Free returns. Online versus in person is also tough because a lot of sellers don't disclose flaws or say it is not flaws and it becomes flaws. Yeah, I hear that for sure. This is why I haven't sweated listing in 2 months and still making daily sales. Nifting is doing the work. Yep, 100%. So obviously you're going to see a decline. I'm sure you've seen a decline in sales because over the past 2 months of you not listing, you have less items available, right? Because they're selling off. So if 2 months ago you had, I'm just going to use a random number. If you had 100 items listed and you've sold 40 items over the last 2 months, your sales are going to slow because there's less stuff available. Now there's only 60 items available to sell, right? So you're going to see slower sales because you're not listing, sure. But because your Nifty is feeding the automation, the automation is feeding the algorithm monster for you. What you are selling is still selling well, regardless of whether you're putting up new listings or not. Why does Nifty offer scheduling? Because people asked for it. What you're saying makes sense. Yeah, people asked for it. I was doing the Nifty scheduling thing for about 2 months and my sales felt very stale. Went back to listing right away and sales returned to normal. There you go. It can't sell if it's not listed. It's impossible. If it's a draft, if it's scheduled, it cannot sell. How many items did I sell this weekend that sold in, 3 days or less? I can give you the answer. We are armed with this information. 3 days or less. Well, yours were sitting in drafts, mine are selling. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Five items sold in 3 days or less. 2 more sold in 4 days or less. And that's just from the last 48 hours. And then if I look back to what I shipped on Saturday, there's another 3 on Saturday that sold in 3 days or less. 3 days, 2 days, 1 day. And that was what shipped on Saturday. So that's a lot of sales from stuff that maybe were sitting in your drafts. One thing I will say, and again, everybody do your own thing with your own. Everybody take what I say with a grain of salt. I know that y'all already do that. Take what I say with a grain of salt. Do what you want with your business. Everybody has different business preferences, but I'm just saying, if you have automation tools in your scheduling, you're leaving money on the table because your automation tools are already doing the algorithm work for you. One thing I will say, and if you choose to leave that money on the table, it's totally your choice. I'm not mad at you. I don't, again, everybody's running their own business. I have weird preferences in my business too, things that I've just always done in a certain way. And if you ask me, why do you do it that way? I'd be like, I don't know, just the way I do it. And I'm kind of weird and it's my business and I do what I want. And you can do the same thing. You have all the permission to do so. One thing I will say is the workflow to get the photos first before resting the listing with Nifty AI. That's the only bank I advise. If similar situation, I can do the listings anywhere then. Got it. Nifty draft is because photos is the toughest part of my workflow. Once photos are taken, I can create listing anywhere on mobile. Nice. Just not enough time with a full-time job. I feel you. Okay, I'm convinced. I also bought one of Trisha Smith's flat lay hangers recently, and those are a huge game changer, especially on larger men's shirts. It's a great product. It really is. I'm glad that you're enjoying that product. Trisha and Jesse do a great job with those hangers. They've sold a lot of. Trisha, are you still here? How many hangers have you sold over the years? I mean, you were selling those. I remember when I still lived in Florida. I remember I created a video about one in Florida. So I've been back here 3.5 years. So it was at least 3.5 years ago that you were selling those. And I think you were selling them even before that. Next up is Brooks Brothers. This sold for $18.99 on a best offer. This person's first offer was $15. Their second offer was $17. Their third offer was $18. And I just kept counter offering at my $18.99. That's what I was comfortable with on this item. And that's what I got for it. So this one took I don't think this was a fast sale. If I can find it. This one took 81 days to sell. It's still a W. It's under 90 days, under 3 months. I paid $5, sold for $18.99. You can see it's got a nice modern pattern on this button-down shirt. It's kind of like a twill Oxford style shirt, and it does have the logo on the chest as well. I'm not going to be able to show it to you because of how it's folded, but nice modern pattern plus logo on chest. $18.99 on this one. These usually sell for between $18 and $22 for me. I don't buy all Brooks Brothers button-down shirts, but a nice modern plaid pattern like that, plus the logo is, that's an easy pickup for $5 for me. I'll buy those every single time. But some of those more dated patterns are a tougher sell, and I don't grab those at $5 anymore. Sometimes if it's a really big size, I still will, but in this case, the pattern and the logo did all the talking for me out the door. $18.99 plus $6.95 shipping is what the buyer paid. I probably made like $9 off this, but again, I just don't like leaving that money on the table. I already paid the gas to get to the thrift store. I already spent the time driving there. I already spent the time going through the rack. I know that these are a consistent seller for me. Why not just pick them up, list them, and make a little bit more money? I mean, I'll probably sell something like 2,000 items that will make me a profit of $19 or less. I'll probably sell like 2,000 items like that this year. That adds up. If that average is like $15 per item and I sell 2,000 of them, what is that? It's like $30,000 a year just from like low profit items. Why not? I'll take that $30,000. We got a nice system to get those things listed nice and quickly using Nifty and all that stuff. So why not do it? Here's a great sale. And I've been playing this game for 8 years now. And I've been like 99% clothing now for the last 3+ years. Ooh. And this is a new brand for me. So this is actually a bundle of 2. You can see it, wool dress pants. I can't really show you the logo on these. I guess I can. It's on the waistband. I don't know. I probably passed these like a billion times, I feel like. But I finally looked them up. Zanella wool dress pants. The comps are great. This bundle of 2 sold for $78.99. It's one of the best sales of the weekend for a brand. I bet you I've passed this just so many times. You ever found like a brand, like realized a brand was good and you're like, dang it, I feel like I've passed that brand so many times and just paid no attention to. I looked it up because I found 5 of them. All this, they weren't all the same size. They were all similar sizes. So I made 3 bundles, I made 3 listings. 1 bundle of 2, another bundle of 2, and then a single one because the single one was a slightly different size. This is a 36 by 33. I think the one that was a single was like a 36, 34 or whatever. But anyway, I feel like I've passed this like 10 billion times is my guess. Maybe I'm overestimating that, but sometimes you don't notice something until you know it's good. Now I'll probably notice these all the time. So I paid $5 a piece for these. This bundle here cost me $10. It sold for $78.99 plus the buyer paid, I think they paid $8.95 shipping. Yes, they paid $8.95 shipping. So after shipping and fees, eBay's paying me out $63.36. I paid $10 total for these 2 pairs. So that's crazy profit. That's $53 on this sale here for a brand. I bet you I've passed this so many times. So let me know down below in the chat. What do you know about the brand Zanella? And I'll put it in the chat too, just because I feel like it's a kind of a funky word. Let me get it here. We still got a lot of sales to go through, y'all. We did a lot of talking early, a lot of flapping my gums. Here's in the chat. That's that brand. Again, it's 100% wool pair of slacks, like dress pants, trousers, if you will. And it's a great sale, $53 profit on that. I've sold over 500, and thank you to whoever said that. You're very sweet. What's a flat lay hanger? Sounds like a good tool. Trisha, do you have any of the flat lay hangers available, or do you have a link where somebody could, even if they're out of stock, do you have a link where somebody could go look at one? I just don't have one on hand. But you might want to, if you have a link, you can drop it in the chat, or I can, or whatever. I guess it's easier if you just do it. I'm still here. Just photographing some stuffs. Yeah, drop the link if you have it, Trisha, so somebody can see. Somebody was asking, so people can take a look at it. When are they back in stock? I always miss out. That's a Trisha question. Trisha, when are they back in stock? What is the card you put in the bag with your package? It's a thank you card. It's got a QR code on it. It says, we appreciate your business. It's got my website on it too. Ran into 10 Canali suits, all donated by the same person, half off day. So $8 for both top and bottom out of 10. Left with none. Little holes, tears, and liners, yellow stains. Yeah, it kind of sucks. That your eyes must have got real big, and it sucks to have to pass on those. But it's the right move, I think, to just kind of leave behind the flawed suits and blazers. Unfortunately, I leave those behind. I found something like 8 suits in that Richmond YouTube video that I just dropped. If you haven't checked out that video, I'm going to drop a link to. You can see it's the top video at this link I'm going to drop. But I found at one store, I found 8 good suits. And I was like, man, because, suits, I average $50, $60, $70 profit on suits. So probably the ones that I found were probably going to be more like a $50 average profit per suit. So find 8 of those in one thrift store. It's that's $400 worth of profit off one thrift. Not to mention I bought 20 something other items at that thrift too. But I had to put back every single suit. I left with no suits. So I feel your pain. Mine weren't as good as Canali, but there were Brooks Brothers and Joseph A. Banks, and I think I grabbed a couple of really nice pattern Staffords, and every single one had at least one little flaw, and I was like, dang it. But that's part of the game, Next time you'll get 10 out of 10, right? All 10 will come home with you. So thanks for what you do. Poshmark sales grew from a tip from you. It was nifty with the automated offers and all the sharing. Depop doing well, but absolutely no orders on Mercari with nifty. Any tips? Glad that you're doing well with Poshmark and all that stuff. I got one Mercari. Do I have a Mercari sale? No, I don't have any Mercari sales over the weekend, so I don't know if I'm the best person to be giving Mercari tips. Turn on all the automation tools on Nifty. Sell in demand items. Take great photos. It's just as usual advice. I don't have any particularly Mercari tips. I don't do well on that platform either, so I wish I had more to offer, but it's a platform that I think is in the downturn. I don't think much of anyone has consistent sales at this point. I don't think you're wrong there. I bundled 2 on Tucket shirts, same sizes, shirts, different colors, sitting, and so on. Again, I would just get back to the basics. I don't know anything about your store. You might have the best store on planet Earth, or maybe just the best store east of the Mississippi. I don't know. It could be awesome, but I would say get back to the basics, right? Are your photos better? Untuckit is a very competitive marketplace, right? There's a lot of supply on Untuckit. It's not like it was 3 years ago where, Untuckit's been a big brand now for 10 years, and they've had 4 or 5 years in a row where they've, probably set records in terms of how many sales they've done, which means the supply out there in the world has just gone way up because they've done such great business. The demand for those items is still there, but the supply is much higher, which means you're looking at the intersection of the supply and demand curve. So the demand is still there. The supply is just much higher. So you're competing with a lot of people on those shirts. So I would say just get back to the basics. Are your photos better than your competition? Go look. Go search for Untuckit, same size that you have. Are your photos better than theirs? Is your price better than theirs? Are your keywords better than theirs? Are you showing up higher in search results? Are they promoting? Is that why they're selling, right? Because they're showing up higher in search results because they're promoting. Are you promoting? Are you cross-listing onto multiple platforms? And are you using automation tools, again, to show up higher in search results because you're feeding the algorithms with offers, with relists, with and with shares on Poshmark and all that stuff? Just get back to the basics. Get back to your selling strategy. It is a very competitive marketplace for Untuckit. So if you're not maximizing on all those things, best photos, best keywords, promoting on eBay, cross-listing on multiple platforms, automation tools, if you're not doing all that, it's going to be hard to compete with other sellers on Untuckits, because guess what? There's people in this chat that are selling Untuckits, and they're doing all of those things I just mentioned, and they're crushing them. So you're competing with them. And yeah, it's basically like having a restaurant right down the street from 50 other restaurants. And there's a lot of really good restaurants on that strip. And you're like, man, my sales on hot dogs aren't good. It's like, well, there are 40 other options to buy hot dogs on that same street. Those other places have better parking, better prices, better service, better signage, right? And better marketing, like better advertisements and stuff, right? So it's the same thing as if you were going to put people get it when you talk about putting a restaurant with hot dogs on a street with 40 other restaurants with hot dogs. You get it. You're like, oh, there's a lot of competition. So how would I expect to get sales on things if I'm not out competing them on one or many different selling attributes? And people get that when it's a restaurant, right? But I don't think people always get that when it comes to eBay. You are competing with these people, which means to win, which winning is getting the sale, you have to do better. Not just like as good, you have to be better than everybody else. So I don't know anything about your store. Again, it might be the best eBay store east of the Mississippi. You might have the best photos in the land, but I don't know. But those are my general suggestions to you and to anybody else who wants to resell a brand like Untuck It, where the supply, aka the competition, is very high. I picked up a Zanella blazer in my early days because I mixed it up with the brand Zenda, still made a profit, so wasn't mad about it. I like it. Have you been selling it since? I'm currently sold out. Let me get you a link. Here's the link right there. Trisha's put it, I don't know if you can click the one on the screen, but it's in the chat. You can find that link right there. It's sold out, but if you want to go look at the flat fillet hanger, it's a great product. I've recommended it to people for years, but if you want to go take a look at it, it's right there at that link. No estimated date on the next batch yet. Hopefully soon. Hubby makes them in his free time, which is generally only on the weekends if he isn't doing other stuff. Because Trisha's got him busy doing all kinds of stuff. She's like, have you mowed the lawn yet? Have you weeded the garden yet? Have you changed the oil in the car? I mean, the demands that Trisha puts on Jesse. And this guy's got a full-time job. He's busy. Have you made the hangers yet? We need more hangers. People are asking for hangers. I mean, she's got him running ragged, the poor guy. So that's why the hangers aren't available. Jesse's just so busy with her. She's got a honey-do list like you'd never seen before. But he makes it work, and you'll get some hangers sometime soon. She makes him cook dinner every night too. I mean, it is insane the stuff that he does. He does all the laundry on top of that. Just an insane list that she gives him every single day. I've gotten one Mercari sale this month. Oof. I passed in some Hickey Freeman blazers that had Laurel Piana fabric. They were priced at $20 per. Not sure if I missed out on a deal. Again, without looking at the blazer, you get it. One blazer could be so much better than another blazer just based on the visual appearance. What is the style? What is the pattern? Of course, the size matters and all that stuff too. Are there some Hickey Freeman blazers with Laurel Piana fabric that are worth $20? Yeah, there are definitely some that are. But I don't know if the ones that you are looking at are or not. It just sort of depends. No estimated date for another batch right now. Oh yeah, I already covered that one. Thanks so much. The honey-do list. You're welcome. Any ideas how to stop Nifty from putting unbranded in the title when creating a listing and brand cannot be determined? Not sure. Never encountered that. Maybe somebody else in the chat could peel off an answer to that question. I don't know that I've ever seen it put unbranded in any of my listings. So I wonder, piece of scrap. Here's my advice to you. Unless somebody else has better advice, I would ask Otto that same question. So within Nifty, there's a little automation bot called Otto, OTTO. It's on the left-hand side of your screen. Just ask Otto that same exact question and see what answer it comes up with. And if that doesn't work, reach out to the customer support. And unless somebody else has like a better suggestion, I just haven't experienced that, so I can't give advice based on it. But that Otto usually gives me like nice step-by-step instructions, like how to fix certain things. What's up, Marcus? How are you? I have a rare Susan B. Anthony dollar piece. Nice, Marcus. That's cool. Clothing store in the mall went out of business. Found some great stuff for myself and things to sell, and I already made a sale. Nice, Candy. I love that. Just taking advantage of an opportunity there. Oh, I just said I was going to drop the link to YouTube, and I never hit send on it. So there's the link to the YouTube video if you want to check it out. Your AI generations settings tell it not to do that. I had to tell it to stop using a certain keyword Poshmark doesn't allow. I just put as a keyword and it did stop using. Okay, there you go. Good advice. And also building CD shelves. Yes, I forgot about that. Nope, haven't found another Zanella since. I haven't heard anyone speak about the brand either until this live. Well, hopefully I talk about it some more because I have 2 more listings, a bundle of 2 and a single pair of pants to sell too, all 100% wool. Do you sell women's clothing? I do. It's amazing how successful you are selling men's. I do. Not a ton of it, but I don't know if I sold any women's today or this weekend. I don't think so. But I do sell some women's, probably like 5 to 10% of what I sell. Probably closer to 5% is women's, to be honest with you. No lies detected. Chris is not exaggerating one bit, except for with laundry. I do the laundry. See, I just missed on the laundry thing. I'll try it. Cool. What are you doing, Marcus? I'm shipping items out. What are you doing? Next up, really great sale here. Just found this. Actually, this is the video that's going to go up. I think this is the video that will go up next week. I found this up in Northern Virginia in one of the YouTube videos that I just recorded. Orvis, this is gold buttons on a navy blue blazer. You know, I pick these up all the time in a lot of different brands. When I first discovered it, I was like, hey, this is a vintage Orvis, because the last two I found were vintage Orvis with the navy blue with the gold buttons. But that tag is modern. It's also got another tag on it that says Hop Sack Blazer. And it's like a very kind of modern looking tag that talks about the blazer and that you would wear it for fishing. Seems very strange to me because this is definitely not something you'd wear fishing. But anyway, this sold in a matter of, talk about quick sales. This sold on Posh, on eBay. Take that back. In 4 days. This sold on 4 days, and it sold on a best offer, $44 plus $9.95 shipping. Sorry, $55 plus $9.95 shipping. I entered that wrong on my spreadsheet. $55 plus $9.95. And I think I paid $8 for this at a thrift store. I didn't finish shipping the last item. I put it in the bag. Oh, those are the Zanellas. Then we were talking about flat rate hangers and something shiny went by. So let's get this out the door. But yeah, how about that? Buying something for $8, selling it within 4 days for $55. You can't argue with that. But these Zanella pants were even better. How long did these take to sell? I forget to tell you that. So $78.99 on the Zanellas, and they took 17 days to sell. Not bad, right? That's quick. I haven't paid the credit card bill on that yet. Haven't paid the credit card bill. I have a pair of 501 Levi's with the big E. How can I know what they are worth? I would just look it up. I would just look up recent sales on eBay for exactly the item you have. So search eBay and then filter your search results for sold, and that'll give you an idea of what similar ones have been selling for on eBay. That's what I would do. All right, so now we can ship out this Orvis. I almost got out of order there. $55 plus $9.95 shipping on this. So my profit after fees on this, after fees and shipping cost, is going to be $43.99. It's going to be $35 profit. And again, it sold in 4 days. So profit before I've paid that credit card bill. Again, I don't pay interest on my credit cards. I have one business credit card that I use for all my purchases for the business, shipping supplies, thrift stores, retail arbitrage, whatever. It's all one card, and I pay it off at the end of each month. But I'm basically using free money to make profit in the meantime, especially when something sells really quickly. So this one's going to Woodstock, Maryland. We're shipping a lot to Maryland today. We are grateful for Maryland people today. They are buying our stuff. Really great sale right there. 4 days. And I picked these up if they're vintage too. I've just never found one that was modern like that before. I thought it was vintage when I first found it. You're welcome, Marcus. Next up is an order of Levi's. This is going to Francis in New York, the Big Apple. This is just a modern pair of Levi's, not vintage, nothing fancy. The 514 are just a straight fit. Straight fit, so straight leg, straight fit. 38 by 30, $22.99 on this pair of Levi's. Nothing fancy, just a good consistent seller. I paid $6 for these, and these took a little while to sell. I picked them up in December, so they took 7, almost 8 months to sell. But that's what's going to happen when you pick up a lot of bread and butter. There's so much competition on an item like this, Levi's 514. The sell-through rate is probably right around 25%. So if you're going to pick up items like this, you can't expect all of them to sell fast. Some of them will, but a 25% sell-through rate is pretty low. So I'm not surprised that these ones took a little while to sell. But I will see a really big upturn in Levi's sales once we get to September. and then I'll basically be shipping out a pair of Levi's every single day. Usually that pace of Levi's sales drops for May, June, July, August, and I see more like 15 or so Levi's sell per month instead of 30. But they still sell in the summertime. People are still wearing jeans. These ones are going to New York. It's probably hot as heck in New York too. I'll give you an idea of how many Levi's I've sold just in the month of July. Let's take a look at that and compare it to some of the other months. All right. So that's 26. So I've actually sold a pretty good amount. I've sold 10 so far in July, and we're only 20 days in. So I'm basically on pace to sell, somewhere between like 13 and 15, maybe 13 and 16 pair of Levi's before the end of the month. Okay. But again, once we get to September, when jeans become what everybody's buying, I'll start selling, 30 of them a month, which is one per day. Next up is a pair of Lucky Brand jeans. Again, just bread and butter pickup right here. This is a really big size 50 by 28. And this is the model is called the 410 Athletic Fit. Again, this is not vintage. This is modern. Not a high sell-through rate item, but this one sold in 16 days. 16 days. Men's size 50 by 28 on those. Sold for this is a nifty best offer. So sold for $22.49. So this buyer, Troy, on eBay, watched the item. And then 10 minutes later, my cross lister, Nifty, sent a 10% off automatic offer once it saw that they didn't buy the item full price. So it's the same thing as like an abandoned cart on Amazon or any of these other e-commerce sites. When they know that they have somebody who wants to buy an item, they'll go through great lengths to get that person to purchase. They'll text them, they'll email them, they'll send them push notifications through the mobile app. They want to get that person to buy. I was shopping for stuff over the weekend. I bought a bunch of stuff on Amazon, some stuff for the business, some stuff personal. And, Amazon was like giving me these like reminders about things I looked at but didn't buy. I was like, you looked at this. Do you still want to buy this? Or you had it in your cart. Do you still want to buy this? That kind of stuff costs them money to like build all that in and send all those notifications. But believe me, they know that if they got somebody that's interested in something, they want to get them, they want to close that deal. And that's exactly what Nifty does with that auto offer tool. You can set it to wait longer than 10 minutes if you want, but I like mine at 10 minutes because I don't want the person to go and find the item somewhere else. I don't want them to find it from you. I want you to be successful. But if you have the same pair of Lucky Brands, I want the sale over you. So I want Nifty to send that offer quickly because I don't want them to go buy it from you. I don't want them to go buy it on Poshmark. I don't want them to go buy it on Amazon. They could buy it new on Amazon and say, you know what, I'll pay $50. I'll get the brand new one. I wanted that sale, so Nifty automatically sends that best offer. So $22.49. I paid $6 for those Lucky Brands, and they sold in a grand total of 16 days, 2 weeks out the door. Again, I haven't paid the credit card bill on that, but I already got the profit. I love it. Next up is the last sale on eBay. Then we're going to switch over to Poshmark. Got a pair of Brooks Brothers here. This has been a really good, reliable seller for me. This is a pair of merino wool slacks or trousers. I don't know if I can show you the logo. I can. It's a nice modern Brooks Brothers logo right here. And this is a Regent fit. I don't even know if you can see that, but that's the logo. This sold on a best offer right before I went live. $30 on these. So these sold this morning. $30. Men's size 40 by 32 Regent fit navy blue trousers. I paid $5 at the thrift store. They sold for $30 plus the buyer paid $8.95 shipping. And that took a grand total of 18 days to sell. A lot of quick sales today. That's not always the case. We had a few slower ones too, but a lot of quick ones. A lot of quick ones. This is going to Robert in McLean, Virginia. I do pick up the Brooks Brothers cotton khakis too, although they don't sell for as much as the wool pants. They don't tend to sell as quickly, but I do pick those up too. I'm trying to think of what I don't pick up. Brooks Brothers pants. I might pick up everything Brooks Brothers pants. I sold a pair of corduroys earlier today, or I shipped a pair earlier today. I pick up those. I think I'm pretty much all in on all Brooks Brothers pants. I can't think of an example off the top of my head that I wouldn't pick up, but most Levi's I have to let sit at my local Goodwill. $8.50, $9.60, and $10.50 is what they're trying to sell them for. Yeah, most modern Levi's are not worth paying that kind of money for unless you can find a 517 or a 527. Those are the boot cuts, and those will sell for a little bit more money with a higher sell-through rate, so it might be worth your paying up for. With flat rate shipping, are you confident it covers shipping from North Carolina to California? I'm not. But Diane, I'm not concerned about that, Diane, because it's just a law of averages. We'll ship out something like 400 items this month. Some of those 400, I'll lose a few bucks if it goes to California, but some of those items are going to ship to North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, Virginia, like this one right here, and we'll make a couple bucks on shipping. So I don't worry about each individual one. I just care about like the macro. So to answer your question in short, no, I'm not confident it covers it. But the other 399 sales, it covers it, if that makes sense. I worry about the macro and not the micro in that scenario there. And in this case, I don't know what the shipping label cost me. This case, it was $6.98 to ship this to Virginia. And I charged the buyer $8.95. So I made $2 on this pair. But on a pair that I'm just trying to find an example from today where it went to California. Actually, I don't see any examples of where I lost money today on shipping. No, I have 0 examples today on eBay of where I lost money on shipping, but it's not uncommon that I do have that. If a pair of jeans ships to California, it might cost me $10 or $11, and I might have only charged $9 for that shipping. So yeah, I might have lost $1 or $2, but I make it up. I make 50 cents here, $1 there, $2 there on the other ones, and it sort of all comes out in the wash. I didn't miss it. I checked a couple of times earlier, then got busy. So glad to be here. Welcome aboard. You're doing great. We just finished eBay, so we're just jumping into Poshmark now. So your timing's good, I guess. Especially if you like Poshmark. The best way I found a look at flat rate shipping to the other coast is what does it matter if you lose, for instance, my average $1.80 on shipping. My average ROI is $3.73 for July. We can't expect to always make money on every single aspect. Yeah. I mean, look, this business, there's a lot of money to be made on the margins, right? And, the little details do make a difference, and pennies do add up to dollars, and dollars do add up to hundreds and thousands of dollars. Yeah, there's money to be made on the margins, and I think we should be focused on those things for sure. But think about how much. But part of that, it's a double-edged sword, right? You want to pay attention to the fact that maybe you're losing $1 or $2 here and there on shipping going to California, sure, but you also can't underestimate how many extra sales you might have got because your shipping price was more attractive than somebody else who was shipping that item for $12. The way I look at it is like $8.95 has a lot less sticker shock than somebody who's charging $11.99 or something like that for shipping. That might be enough to turn somebody away, and they go find that same exact item for me at a lower shipping price. Because, people don't like paying. They don't like to feel like they're overpaying for things, and if most people don't know how much it costs something to ship. Most people don't realize that the item's even coming from North Carolina if they're shopping from California or from Seattle, Washington. They don't know, but they just know that feels like a high price, that $12.95. Like I feel like I'm not getting good value there. $8.95 for my shipping might look a lot better. So there's two sides to it, right? Like, yeah, you got to pay attention to maybe losing $1 or $2 here, but how many extra sales are you getting? Are you closing as from California buyers as a result of having a more aggressive price? It works both ways, right? What's up, JK Vintage? How are you? I do still grab most of the boot cut. I'm with you on that. I like it. Because if we raise flat rate shipping, then the largest state in the union might not want to buy anymore because of the shipping cost. Good point. I mean, California, there's a lot of buyers out there for sure. A lot of humans. They don't have much money after they pay all their taxes to shop. but yeah, I'm kidding, of course. But not really. They actually do pay a lot of taxes. Plus time spent micromanaging shipping is worth something too. 100%. I agree with that. Although a lot of people do eBay calculated shipping, right? And that kind of takes care of a lot of that too. But the eBay calculated shipping is going to show California buyers a pretty high shipping price. And you could be losing a lot of sales from that too. So you got to take into both sides of it. I'd rather lose $1 or $2 shipping here and there, but have a lot of sales going to California that I might not otherwise have. And today, I don't know if I had something going to Vegas. I have something going to California, Washington, Puerto Rico, Texas, some other places. I skipped a whole bunch of like states that are around here. Shipped a lot to like Virginia and Maryland today. Let's do some Poshmark sales here. Just getting cooking on Poshmark. So we just shipped all our eBay orders. It was more of an eBay weekend than Poshmark, but Poshmark did okay too. So our first sale here is a Collars & Co. And actually sold 3 Collars & Co. over the weekend on Poshmark and 0 on eBay. So I don't know what that means, but there it is, Collars & Co. brand new with tags. Some of you probably are familiar with this. I bought like 92 or 91 of these off a whatnot seller that I trust that I've bought stuff on before. They're all brand new with tags or brand new without tags. I paid somewhere around like $21 a unit for these, shipped to my front door. I'm not going to make a ton of profit off this buy. I actually thought I might do a little bit better. Part of that is this market isn't quite what I thought it would be. I thought it would uptick. I bought these in like February or something. I thought that the market would uptick because of the nature of these shirts. They're moisture wicking. A lot of them are short sleeve shirts. So it's kind of more of like a summertime product, although it's a year-round product too, but you get what I mean. And I just sort of thought that I would be able to get more per unit on these, and it just didn't work out that way. I've also had a fair amount of returns on these for reasons does not fit. And that's one of the challenges with selling new with tags items, especially from a new modern brand like Collars & Co., right? It's not like people have been wearing Collars & Co. for years or a generation. They know exactly how they fit and all that. A lot of people are trying the brand for the first time. And because Collars & Co. is kind of a modern, kind of slimmer fit kind of thing, it's a lot of people buy it. They try it on. It's not the fit that they expected. And I get the return on it. So that's one thing that I can see on new with tags items. Oftentimes when people are buying used items, they're not oftentimes trying that brand. Of course, they're speaking generalities and stereotypes here. But I feel like when people are trying a brand for the first time, they're often buying it new, right? I think when people are buying used items, a lot of times they're like, yeah, I like that shirt. I've had it, I have 2 of them right now. I'm wearing them out. I need another one. Or I have 2 of them and I want another color. I know exactly which size to order, which model I like and all that. And I think that's a lot of used stuff. But I think there's a higher percentage of people who are buying, when they're trying a brand for the first time, they're buying like brand new. They're buying it on a discount on eBay or Poshmark. So I've had not a crazy amount of returns, but a higher amount of returns than on average for things. And that can tend to happen with these younger brands that are new with tags. It just fit a little bit differently because just people, they haven't owned them before. And Collars & Co. is a very young brand. So it makes sense. I didn't build that into my math when I made this purchase. I wasn't thinking that. I probably should have, because I generally know this. This isn't like new knowledge to me. I realized that I get a higher return rate on new with tags items from younger brands that might have a slimmer fit or whatever. I knew that, but I sort of didn't apply that knowledge to this purchase. And anyway, that last one sold for $37. Good thing that sold on Poshmark, because Poshmark, somebody can't return something for a reason does not fit. So we know that one's not coming back. So that's good. Same with this one. This one sold for $39. Solid black, Collars & Co. brand new with tags here. So that's a positive of selling them on Poshmark. They aren't coming back because they don't fit. On eBay, if they don't fit, they're probably coming back. So I'm happy that these 3 sold on Poshmark. I'd have to take a look back and see like exactly how many of them have been returned. It's not a crazy amount, but it is, my typical return rate on eBay is about 2.5%. Anecdotally, the returns on these have been higher than 2.5% on eBay. But again, these are Poshmark sales, so No returns for fit on these. These are gone and they're not coming back. No boomerangs. So 2 Collars & Co. out the door. And we still have another one. We'll just go ahead and ship that one out right now since we're talking about Collars & Co. or whatever. The state for me that people have issues with my shipping costs is Florida. I use calculated and they still get mad. Desert Rain, you're in, remind me where you're at again? Are you in Virginia? I get confused. I have a small memory. How do you know people get mad? People send you messages about shipping prices? That's interesting. I can't remember the last time somebody messaged me about a shipping price. Well, yesterday I had somebody on Poshmark. Actually, it was this buyer. I can't even make this up. This buyer messaged me twice so we went back and forth on offers. The last offer was $39 and they said, can you do $4.95 shipping, like the discounted shipping, and then I'll buy it right now? And I said, no, I sent you my best offer. And then they like messaged me again like a day later, same thing, like, hey, can we do $4.95 discounted shipping? I said, nope, this is my best price on the shirt. And because they wanted the discounted shipping on Poshmark. I don't do the discounted shipping on Poshmark. I don't think I've ever sold a single item for discounted shipping on Poshmark. Now, I might not remember when I first started Poshmark back in 2021. Maybe I'm not remembering a couple sales back then that happened with the discounted shipping, but it probably happened. I'm assuming it happened, but it's been years anyway since I sold anything on discounted shipping. It's full price shipping. You want it or I don't pay your shipping. You want it to ship to you, you're going to pay for the shipping. That's the way I do it. But anyway, on eBay, I can't think of an example recently where somebody messaged me about shipping price. So that's interesting. People are like whining and complaining about it. You are able to charge the 50% back to you as a top rated seller because you're returning it to you in a condition worse than you sent it out. Are you responding to somebody else? Did somebody have like an item come back damaged? Is that what we're talking about? I didn't see that message. If so, on eBay. Gotcha. I didn't see that. Hello from Washington, just listening in between thrift stops. Nice. Hope you're finding some good stuff, Coho. You got to give us a full report on what you found out. I can't wait to hear about it, whether it's on this live or on a comment on a video afterwards, or let me know what you found. I want to know. I'm in Idaho. Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, that's far from Idaho. That makes sense. They send me a message. They're always so rude and frustrated. Gotcha. That's interesting. So your calculated shipping, how much is it showing them for the shipping price? I'm curious. I just don't get questions like that. Side question. So maybe that's like a +1 for, doing the flat rate shipping is you don't get angry messages from people in Florida. Side question. I bought the cold coffee brewer you recommended. Should I use more coffee to cold brew, or is it supposed to be that light? It looked dark, but when I put in my usual amount of creamer, it was way too much, and I tried using what? Okay, so Queen, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to go to Google and you're going to search for what is the best ratio for cold brew coffee. It's a totally different brewing style, right? Because you're not using heat to brew it. It's just sitting in the water over time to create that coffee. So it's irrelevant whatever you did like in your hot brewing. Just throw that out the window. It has nothing to do with this brewing process. It's totally different. So the results I get is we prefer a 1-to-8 ratio. 1 gram of coffee for every 8 grams of water. So, but you can also do it stronger, right? You can do 1-to-4. So 1 gram of coffee for every 4 grams of water. That would be on the really strong side. Typically, when people are going to do it that way, 1-to-4, really strong, what they're going to do is they're going to use it as a concentrate. So then what you'll do, you could do it. So it's basically going to be the same way if you do it either way. If you do it 1-to-8, then you can pour it straight out of the thing, 1-to-8 ratio. And that's probably going to be about what you're going to want to do. But if you do it 1-to-4, then you're going to mix it half and half with water, right? Because you're going to use it as a concentrate. And either way, you're going to get the same exact cup of coffee. Of course, you can do stuff in between. You can do you could say, I like a little bit of a stronger cold brew. You could do a 1-to-7 ratio or a 1-to-7.5 ratio, right? Or even a 1-to-6 ratio if you really like a strong cold brew. Or if you like one that's a little bit lighter, you can use a 1-9 ratio, whatever. But I would suggest starting with a 1-8 ratio, see how that coffee comes out, and then sort of adjust, more or less from there. But you got to throw totally out the window what you're doing with your hot coffee ratio, because it's a totally different brewing process. So I would start with a 1-8 ratio and then tweak from there. And then if you want to make a concentrate, which I'll do sometimes, then you can do a concentrate. So you can make more coffee at one time, right? And then you can dilute it every time you pour a cup out of your carafe, right? You can just add some water to it every time as a concentrate. So that's my little soliloquy there on coffee. Hopefully that helps. Once you get it dialed, I think you'll be happy with it. Everybody has a little bit of a different taste. Was way too much, and I tried using less, and I can't taste coffee. Yeah, hopefully that helps. Do you always do returns, buyer pays, or seller pays returns? Notice any different? I've ran free returns for years. When I started offering free returns years ago, I didn't notice an increase in return rate. Pretty much always had like a 2.5 to 3.5% return ratio, regardless of my policy. So I do free returns. It's usually for an item weighing between 8 to 12 ounce. They get mad that it costs too much, usually around $7. Interesting. Find of the weekend for me, 12 3XL ponchos for $20 each. Hopefully the resale market hasn't crashed. Nope, you'll do good with those. I'd rather pay $5 for them, but 20, you'll still make money. The market has not crashed. I want to taste coffee, but not to be zooted up. Yeah, I think hopefully that helps. Not trying to be weird, but what brand shirt you're wearing? I see pearl snaps, maybe vented back or maybe detailing. Either way, it's a sharp looking shirt. Oh, thanks. It's a poncho shirt. It's right there, poncho. That's actually what Coho was just talking about right there, the poncho shirt. Welcome in, everybody. Hope you're having a great start to your week. We are just shipping out orders. We're just getting into Poshmark orders. We already shipped out our eBay orders for the weekend. Got some good sales over the weekend. I've been pretty happy with it. Some good, a lot of quick sales, that's for sure, and some really nice profit margins too. Here's a pair of figs. I picked these up actually on a YouTube video. This is when we went to Charleston, and this is the very first store I went to, and I think there was like 4 or 5 pairs of figs on a fresh rack that I scooped up, and this is the last pair I think to sell. So this one sold for best offer of $20. They all sold for between $20 and $25. This is a pair of like scrub bottoms. I don't think these ones are the joggers. I think these are just like kind of the regular, like wide leg or whatever, but they sold $20 on Poshmark. I think I paid $5 a pop for those. So yeah, somebody asked about if I sell women's clothing. This is a pair of women's figs scrub bottoms. I think that's the one pair of women's that I sold, or the one women's item that I sold over the weekend, or at least over the last 48 hours. This is going to Jasmine in Falls Church, Virginia. We were just up in that neck of the woods last weekend. I don't think we actually made it to Falls Church itself, but shoot, we were probably within a couple towns of it, I think. I don't really know all that area all that very well. I think if I remember, I remember seeing that on Google Maps. I see figs sometimes, but it's been just the shirts so far. Are the pant sets usually what to look for? Kind of depends on your buy cost. I would say it always just comes down to look at the comps. So I sold all these pants for between 20 and 25. I'd rather find the sets, right? Because those command more money for sure. You're going to have a better sell-through rate on those too, because a lot of people are going to be finding either the pants or the tops, right? Not having both of them. So I was looking for my shipping label. It's already on here. It used to be when you sent an offer on Poshmark, you had to offer a shipping discount. They did away with that maybe a year and a half ago. I stopped offering the shipping discount then. Gotcha. Yeah, if you used a tool like I use Nifty, but I've used other tools too, like a third-party tool, you didn't have to do that shipping discount even before that. So yeah, it's been a long time since I've offered a shipping discount. I'm trying to remember. Yeah, I probably did that. Well, I got one of those automation tools actually. Let me think. I started on Poshmark in 2021, and then like I'd say a few months after I started on Poshmark, I bought one of those like automation tools, or what they call Posh bot back in the day. And because people told me that I had to get that, and it made a tremendous difference, by the way. And I think when I got that tool, I don't think you had to do like the shipping discount when it sent the auto offers. I don't think it did, but my memory could be wrong there too. It's been a little while. We're talking about going back to 2021. There's been a lot of stuff that's sold and shipped since then. So, and my small memory brain may not remember all those little details. I do still grab most of the, I already said that. JK, who did I miss? Did I miss anybody? If I missed your question or comment, I'm not doing it on purpose. I'm a space cadet. Next one up is Eddie Bauer. This isn't Eddie Bauer Trabex. This isn't Eddie Bauer First Ascent. It's just basic Eddie Bauer, but the pants do well for me. And this pair sold for $25, which is my full asking price. And this is a pair of convertible pants, which tend to sell a little bit better than non-convertible pants for me in a lot of brands. That includes North Face and Columbia too. But there's a pair of Eddie Bauer Rainier convertible pants right here. And I sell the Rainier regular pants a lot too. So $25 full asking price on these. And they sold in they sold in 67 days. So just about 2 months on those. Poshmark's going to keep 20% fees as they always do. So on that $25 sale, that means they're keeping $5. So they're paying me out $20. I paid $5 for this pair of pants. So my profit is going to be $15. And they took 2 months to sell. Kind of pretty standard, right? 5 and a 25. Took a couple months to sell. I feel like that's kind of like the clothing reseller business. You know, if you're doing any kind of volume, you're probably doing very similar stuff to that. So these are shipping to Springfield, Tennessee. They're not going far. I love shipping on Poshmark. Just so easy. It's all flat rate. Buyer pays the same price, $6.99. Even if they buy 3 or 4 things, they still pay $6.99. It's flat rate up to 5 pounds. You can use the free shipping supplies from Poshmark. It's just a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. It's so easy. Hey, Mal, appreciate the positive vibes. It's really kind of you. Appreciate it. I've had Vendu for a while, but having to keep computer running all the time is super annoying. Wanting to switch to Nifty, will it upload from Vendu and keep all the sales? Awesome question. And I think you're thinking about the right thing, frankly. I once upon a time, I used Vendu and liked it, but there were some things about it that frustrated me. I actually dropped Vendu a long time ago, but even before I switched to Nifty. But that's another conversation. To answer your question directly, it is super easy to switch over to Nifty from Vendu. Nifty won't talk to Vendu. So you said, will it upload from Vendu and keep sales? No, it won't. It won't talk to Vendu. Those are competitors, so there won't be any talking. But don't worry, this is going to be really easy, because what it will do is once you sign up for Nifty, and I'm going to give you a free trial link here so you can see how it works. Nifty, this is, if you click that link, you'll get a free 7-day trial and you'll get 15% off your first month. All you got to do is sign up through that link. But the first thing you'll do is you'll connect your platforms. So I'm just going to make some assumptions here. I'm going to assume you sell on eBay, Poshmark, and Mercari. So you're going to connect those platforms to Nifty. Nifty is going to use AI to go through and look at all your listings on those 3 platforms. And it's going to use AI to match them up based on item titles and photos, right? And it's going to say, and it's going to go through and it's going to say, it's going to want you to confirm all those. So I'm going to assume you have 200 items. You're going to go through and you're going to confirm that it matched up those items properly for you so that they're all linked, so that eventually when something sells, it can take it down from the other platforms for you automatically. You don't have to keep the computer running. You don't even have to have a computer at all. You can run it all off your phone if you want to, but definitely don't have to keep anything open, running, or whatever. But that's the first thing you'll do is it'll go through the platforms. It'll find all of your current listings and it will match them up for you. And you'll just confirm all that. So make sure you take that step. Make sure you go and confirm that those are all matched listings, and then you're good to go. And then you can roll. So it won't talk to Vendu, but it doesn't need to talk to Vendu. It's just going to talk directly to those platforms. And what you're going to find, if it was anything like my switch, what you're going to find is a bunch of items that weren't delisted by your current cross-lister. I don't want to talk bad about it, but you're going to find a whole bunch of those, maybe dozens, depending on how many listings you've had, how many listings you have and how long you've been on that platform. You're going to find dozens of these items that haven't been delisted because they sold on other platforms, but they're still available. You're also going to find duplicate listings and all that stuff. And Nifty's going to find all that stuff for you. It's going to find duplicate listings, and it's going to say, hey, these look like duplicate listings. Do you want me to delete one of these things? It's not really going to talk to you, but you get what I mean. And that's so awesome. One of the things that's so awesome about Nifty is if you've used another cross lister before, a lot of people are nervous, and I was. When I switched cross listers in the past, I was very nervous because I don't want to spend a lot of time rebuilding my whole inventory. You don't have to do that. Nifty is going to do all that stuff for you. It's going to find all your listings. It's going to match them up. Super, super easy process to switch over from something like Vendoo or one of those other platforms if you want to get that upgrade up to Nifty and get that full automation experience. No leaving your computer on and all that stuff. You can travel and have your laptop closed again. I dropped that link there for you if you want to check it out. It's a free trial and 15% off your first month. If you have any questions, follow up to that. Let me know, or feel free to send me a message or whatever too. We've been using Nifty now for over 2 years. We started in April of 2024, and boy, I mean, no looking back from when I made that switch. But also, it's got so much better. They just keep making it better. It seems like every month there's like a new feature or something that they smoothed out and made a little bit better. And to me, it's like that AI cross list or the AI listing tool just keeps getting better and better. And I'm just super grateful for that. Great customer service and all that stuff too, which is really, really important, especially as you're learning like a new tool. You have questions, and I like that. I've got a sale here. This is an item. I remember picking this up on my YouTube video when I was out in Winston-Salem, one of those trips. This is a Stafford brand new with tags linen blazer. It's a smaller size. It is a 36R. It's a linen cotton blend blazer. You can see it's got a nice window pane check. This took 66 days to sell. It sold on a best offer on Poshmark for $49. I paid up for this blazer. Typically around here, I pay $7 for blazers. Sometimes when I travel around, blazers are $10. This one I found at a thrift store that does individual pricing. So because this was new with tags, they priced it up to $15. I was like, yeah, I'll pay $15 for a brand new linen blend blazer, especially with like a nice like window pane like that. And yeah, sold for $49. So Poshmark's going to take their fees. They're going to take about $10 from that, about 20%. So that's going to leave me with about $39, and I paid $15. So basically, I made $14 on this. My math right there? No, $39 minus. I made $24. Bad math. $24 on this. Took 66 days to sell. You're welcome. Yep, feel free to follow up with questions if you got them. I am here for it. That's what these lives are all about. What's up, Jack? You're a late brother. Usually you show up at like the halfway point, maybe the third point, maybe the quarter point, but you're probably like 95% through the live here. That's all right. It's good to have you, brother. Hope you're well. How was your weekend? What's the latest? Nice sale here on this staff. I don't pick up all Stafford blazers, not by any stretch of the imagination, but there are some things that I look for with Stafford linen. I like the corduroys too. But this one, obviously, new with tags plus linen caught my eye, and I'm glad I grabbed it for that $15 we paid up. Next up, Poshmark is... Thanks, everybody, for hanging out and watching. This is a lot more fun with y'all here than if I was just talking to the wall again in my office while I shipped. Oh, another one of those collars and co. I said I was going to ship them all at once. Nice pattern on this one. This is a long sleeve collars and co. I'm actually surprised this one took so long to sell. This one sold for... I had this one priced a little bit higher. So this one sold for $42 on a best offer. Brand new with tags. Long sleeve button down. Nice tattersall check pattern on this. I'm kind of getting low on those new with tag. On those new with tag collars and co. Let's see how many I have left. I got 23 of them left. And I think I started with 91. I can tell you exactly how many I've sold. I've sold 57. And I have 23 left. Does that mean I only had 80 of them? 57. Maybe I only had 80 of them. I thought I had 90 of them, or 91. But according to the spreadsheet, I got 23 of them left to sell, and I've sold through 57. 3 of them sold this weekend. We'll take it. And I'm glad that it sold on Poshmark because I have been getting some returns on these for fit, but you can't do that on Poshmark. This is going to Miamisburg. Is that a real town name? Miamisburg, Ohio. It's for people who live in Ohio that wish they could move south and have better weather, I guess. Miamisburg. I've never heard that one before. After this, we got one Whatnot order going out the door. And this is actually a quick sale. I listed this on Saturday, and it sold on Saturday on Whatnot. It's like my first Whatnot sale in like a week, and it was something that I literally listed that same day. Go figure. You are late. I buy off Posh and thought I could come see what goes on. Nice. Well, we're shipping some Posh right now. Where do you get your inventory? Thrift stores, retail stores. I buy it off Whatnot too. This is a brand new with tags item. I bought like 80 of these off of Whatnot, brand new from a seller I trust. Thing that is a lot. And they all were new. Yep, they were all new. Most of them are new with tags. Some of them are new without tags because these tags fall off on these shirts real easily. Crazy long packing live today, Chris. Have a good evening. Appreciate you were like here right at the beginning. Like I think you were like the second comment mark. So appreciate you being here all that time. We still got one more sale left. Not a reseller. Nice. Like Arkansas. I don't know what that means. There are people that wanted to, people who wanted to live in Kansas live in Arkansas. I think that's probably true, right? I have no proof of why that would be true, but it has to be true. But had to live in Arkansas. Yep. I think you're right. That has to be true. Here's our last sale going out the door from the last 48 hours. This one is on Whatnot a used pair of Duluth Trading jeans right here. These are the Ballroom Flex, which is a good seller for me. I often find them in big sizes, and the big sizes do sell well for me. So this sold for full asking price, $26.99. It sold on Whatnot within a couple hours of me listing it. So we will absolutely take that quick sale. This is going to Costa Mesa, California. If you are watching the live right now, just know that all these lives are available as a replay. So as soon as I end this live, the whole replay will be available. You can watch it from the start. You can fast forward through the boring stuff when I'm rambling about God knows what. You can rewind to like the really good sales, or if you want to get like a screenshot of when I'm showing you the tag of an item that is a new brand for you. I did ship out one new brand for me today too. So after 8 years of doing this, I still run into brands I've never heard of, and I'm still learning every day, and I think that's important for anybody. So that's out the door. Duluth Trading, that's like a staple in my store. Those Duluth dry, like either the dry on the fly pants or the flex ballroom jeans or pants. Those are just really good sellers for me. I don't do live sales, but thank you for the compliment on the personality. Do you film your thrifting on videos? Yeah, I have hundreds of videos here on YouTube. My sales on eBay have been brutal. Is it just me? I had a pretty good weekend, but it is July. July tends to be a slower month for, people are on vacation for the summertime. They're spending money on experiences. They're also spending their time on experiences and maybe not online shopping as much because they just, blew $1,000 on a hotel. And I was going to say $1,000 for a hotel in Disney, but I feel like Disney's probably like $1,000 a night for a hotel at this point. But you get what I mean. They're off. They're experiencing things. The kids are out of school. They're traveling. They're going to the beach, the park, the mountains, the river, the lake, wherever they're doing. And they tends to be a little bit slower. I'm down from last month somewhere around 20%. I had a really good June. But I also forecast for that. I usually expect it to be about 15% slower in the summer months, like the July and August. So kind of like a right on projection. I'm a little bit further down than normal because just June was just so gangbusters. Like it was above average June. So now I'm probably having a pretty average July, maybe a slightly above average, actually. I just bought a Versace outfit on Posh. Nice, good find. That's great. How much did you pay for the Versace? The Grand Floridian damn sure is. Yeah, I don't doubt that for a second. I'm subscribing. Welcome aboard, Julie. Good to have you on board. You are very kind. Well, you're kind. You're nice. And you're chatty, which is always welcome here in the live. Y'all, that's all I got for you today. Thanks for hanging out for a few hours there. What was this? 2 hours, 54 minutes. Appreciate you being here. You made it all the way to the end, but don't worry. If you're just jumping in at the tail end of this, you can watch the replay. As soon as I hit end on this live, you can jump in and watch that. And I get back to all those questions and comments too, so feel free to ask those questions. I'll be live again next Monday, same time, same place, sometime right around noontime on Monday. I'll show you everything that's sold this coming weekend. I did drop a YouTube video Wednesday. We went up to Richmond. We hit a bunch of thrift stores up in Richmond, Virginia. I drove 6 hours to get there. You can go check out the video. It only takes you a moment to go click on that. I'm going to drop you the link to all those videos right now so you can go check out that video if you want to. We're going to be dropping basically part 2 of our Virginia trip. I'll drop that on Wednesday. That's when we finally made it further up into the DC area or the Northern Virginia area. So that video I'm editing as we speak. I'll probably go edit that as soon as I get off this live here, but been working on that. I think you're really going to enjoy that video. Kim filmed that one, so it's going to be a little different. It's not going to be POV style. It's going to be Kim pointing the camera at me, so a little bit of a different vibe. I'd love your feedback on it. We'll drop that Wednesday. But for now, you can check out that Richmond video. It's performing well. We're getting some great feedback on it, and I think that you'll enjoy it too. Peace out, Jack. Appreciate you being here. Always do, even if it's just for a few minutes, brother. I was shocked. Just made an offer. Thought it would be. Thank you for the compliment, Swiss. I see that. Subscribed and thumbed up. Appreciate all that. Thanks for the vibes, y'all. Y'all make this fun. It'd be weird if I was just like talking to myself shipping. It's more fun that y'all are here and make it a lot more interesting. Oh, you're way too complimentary. You're too new to be saying like crazy stuff like that. But I do appreciate your positive vibes. Y'all, I'll see you next week. Peace.